nightmare, I told Tamlin. I was the nightmare. I let myself smile for a moment longer, then dressed. There was more work to do. Hi, and welcome to Twin Flames Between Worlds podcast. My name is Tabitha.
And I'm Liesl.
Hi, and welcome to season 3 of Twin Flames Between Worlds. Oh my goodness.
Woo-hoo!
So exciting. So exciting.
Can't believe we made it.
I know. We're on to A Court of Wings in Ruin by Sarah J Maas. Akawar. I just want to let everybody know that I have goosebumps every time I start this book, because I just want to reiterate to the audience one thing is that Sarah was going to end her series, like this series was going to end after this book, which we know is not the case, but
not anymore.
So it definitely had a finality to it, which I loved going in, which is good and bad.
Yep, we do that. So
right. So yeah, for first-time listeners or just people getting into the game here, I just wanted to let you guys know how we do things here. We changed it up a little bit ever since we started, but so yeah, it kind of starts with a little bit of a prologue for me. I kind of ramble for a little bit about what happened previously, and then we go into our deep dive of the chapters that we're going through for the day, and then I give it away to Liesl so we can start talking about the graphic audio for this book, which is girl.
It's already a journey.
So because we love graphic audio, so to all them, and then we end our episode. So let's just get right into it, shall we?
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so we're going through the prologue to the end of chapter 8. I did it right that time.
Yep.
So yeah, let's get into it. Oh my goodness. So I just want to say this is like Sarah's starting with prologue, because sometimes she does and sometimes she doesn't, but like especially in her end books, she has a very epic prologue, and this is what that was. I will say 100%. So we literally start out with Rhysand's perspective 2 years before the wall went up.
So basically 502 plus years ago.
Yeah, what a cool way to start the book, because previously we got his glimpse of it, right? Like he sort of gave us his perspective, in chapter 4 of the previous book about what happened. So we're seeing a glimpse for what it was like for Rhys during the last war as this one begins. And it's it's so cool because Sarah also does it in a way where we're getting his POV at the time. Instead of it just being a flashback, it's like, we're getting his mind during the time. And
also, this is it started a little bit at the end of last book, the whole idea of changing perspectives now instead of just being in Favor's perspective.
Yes, especially them two. Because now they're a pair.
They're a couple.
So he's just walking through a field of corpses, which, holy shit, wow. Sarah's depictions of war are always something I appreciate.
Realistic and dramatic.
Yeah, because we've talked about this before, where sometimes people's depictions of war are so, I don't know, glorious, if that makes sense.
War is not glorious. It's brutal and harsh.
Yeah, this is not what that is. So we're getting him in his flashback combing through the dead, because remember how he said last book is that he's looking for Cassian and Azriel among the dead,
hoping he doesn't find them
because they were split up, because his father split them up when they got their assignments or whatever,
when the war started. Yeah,
and it's just God, this opening is so cool. But the thing I wanted to reiterate that I think paints a good deal of Hybern, because the thing is, we know about Hybern, but we don't know,
right? If
that makes sense. We've gotten Amarantha, but that's just one person, and then of course kind of got them in the tidbit at the end of the book. But Rhys explains that Hybern's warriors they don't fight with rules. There's no rules, there's no honor.
They play dirty.
And it's how did he say it? Let me look, because he was they wouldn't yield easily. The kingdoms and territories that wanted their human slave would not lose the war unless they had no other choice. It's either this or nothing. And so it kind of gives a perspective of what they want, because Feyre kind of, I will, say ahead, Feyre asks at some point during this first part, she's like, what do they want? I think she asked Lucian, she's like, what do they want?
Yeah.
It's this is it.
War. They want war.
They want the chaos. They want things to go back to their status quo. And if anything, that's a really good motivator, unfortunately.
Yeah, and they thrive in the chaos, unfortunately. They love the killing. They love having no rules. They love doing like all like what we would consider crime. So
yeah, 100%. So it paints a very devastating picture, and also just, you know, as he's going through and looking amongst the dead, it's just like he looked through all of those Illyrian warriors, all of them.
And it's like the bodies are mixed up with like other Fae bodies as well. So he's like stepping like over and on and in bodies, and then like he sees like a wing sticking up, and he beelines for that of just like, please don't be my brothers.
It's so sad because it's like we know, because like us now, we don't want any of them to die, like especially those two.
And if you think about it, those battlefields are probably huge. So he's like out there like Dave, even though he's like sore from like a battle of his own.
I did like how he brought up like a name. It was like Ravinia or something like that. I didn't pick that up the first time. We don't know who that is, but that's just like a Hybern. Again, I think I like POV shift of it being like back then, because he's talking about it like we know what happened, even though we don't.
Right, because it's in his mind, he knows who these people are.
Yeah.
Which is very different from Feyre's perspective in, like, we only know what Feyre knows versus Reese's perspective where we know what Reese knows. Except we actually don't know what Reese knows.
Yeah, I just dig it a lot. I do. Yeah. It just, then the end where it's like, you know, I comb through a kingdom of rotting dead and I still look. Goosebumps, girl.
Sarah has a knack for ending chapters or like a section like on a specific like phrase, and it's just like, where the hell does she get these ideas?
She does. I don't know, bro. Like that's what being a good writer does. I can't begin to think where that comes from, but it's just done so well.
Yeah.
So what an opening for the prologue, and then of course the big title ... before chapter 1, Princess of Carrion. Damn, what a foreshadowing that prologue is. Then immediately going into her at the beginning in the spring court. Again, I think when I talk about part names, because Lisa always makes fun of me. I mean, I think like the big reason that it's called Princess of Carrion, not only because she's playing some mind game this section, but I think it's also because that's like it is a reference to what the Book of Breathings called her in the last book during like when she was talking to it.
Yeah, like, hello, Princess Carrion, or whatever.
Does that foreshadow her to kill a bunch of people? Probably. I'm not gonna lie.
Kind of past the point of innocent Feyre, who's unable to do anything. Like, she is fully capable of doing shit here, and it's very obvious.
Which we all love. I mean, we love, this is who she truly is. And it's badass. I'm just gonna keep saying that every time. So again, to like reiterate again where we are currently, the shit happened in Hybern at the end of the last book, and so now we're separated from our main people, our family. So Feyre is in Spring, whilst the Inner Circle is back in the Night Court.
She sacrificed herself for them.
Yeah, for information, but also, you know, yes, like you said, to spare everybody from...
To get them out of Hybern.
Yes.
Alive, specifically.
Baby. Oh my god. Oh, it's so sweet. I love the first line of chapter 1. It's just, the painting was a lie. Badass. It's like, sorry, you go ahead.
She goes from, if we remember, way back in the first book, she just wanted to paint all the time. She wanted to explore that color. Second book, she was struggling to refine that color inside of her. And now she's able to paint, but she's just like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't real, though.
Yeah, I kind of liked how it was a symbol of her putting a mask on herself in this place. I really that, because like I don't think I noticed that the first time. I was just like, ooh, she's painting and she's faking it and da-da-da, but it's like, it's more than that. It's like she's painting herself into the place so she can better easily put her mask up.
Yeah, and it's also what Tamlin expects. You know, he's expecting her to go back to being docile and the girl that he remembers.
Which at every point I think is dumb as fuck, because like the thing is, back when she wasn't painting. If she was that scared like she was before, she wouldn't have painted at all.
Right?
At every moment, Tamlin is just a dumb fuck. Like it's hard.
He's just seeing what he wants to see because he wants to see it.
So delusioned.
He's so blind. It's not even love at this point. He's just blind.
It's like, welcome back to Spring, everybody. Nobody wanted to come back, but here we are. I'm kind of like Feyre. Let's fuck some shit up if we have you here. Like, honestly,
yeah. Like Feyre's actions here in the Spring Court again are what makes it being fun. Otherwise, it would be so boring.
Yeah, I told Liesl pre-recording, I was just like, I don't know, Sarah has a knack for making like a serious situation somehow also come out in like very comedic moments, and I think that's great because I think it's also just realistic. Like, I don't know about you, but sometimes like when I'm in a fucked up situation, like I'll just make like a really dark joke.
Yeah, sometimes it's cathartic.
So it's, you know, it's how people cope with things, but I think finding the comedic moments in something really bad also just is a way to look at things. So she also, of course, gives us a quick snapshot of what happened last book. I know some people don't like this, but you got to think about it like when you know, what if, thank God we weren't these people, but what about, you know, the year between books when this came out? We have to give, you know, because for the people who don't reread the book, let's give everybody a quick snapshot of what happened. Like,
right, it's for a purpose.
But she does it in a way that's not boring. It's like, oh, remember what happened? She's like, as she's painting, she's having like flashbacks of what, like, sisters going in the cauldron, like Asriel getting shot, Cassian's wings getting burned off. Like, it's in a good, like, written way.
Yeah, it's not like a step-by-step of like, this happened and then this and then this and then this. It's more of just like, that happened, that happened, that happened. Like the main point, basically.
Yeah. So I do want to say how proud I am in a weird way of how much her power has grown. Because throughout this whole section, we can see that. But the first glimpse of it that we get is that she can sense when people are coming. Like, she has, I like how she has grown to where she can sense others around her. And I love callback to what she describes it as. She describes it as her shadow snares. Because remember from the first book, she liked to snares up to make herself feel comfortable. But so now I know now they're actual magic darkness instead.
And I think it's also something I think about is that she uses her darkness that she got from Rhys to do it. So she's using Rhys's power as her own, obviously, but as that way of safety and protection and comfort. So like, as in like calling back to like, even though Rhys isn't there, his power is helping her like feel safe.
I know, it's so cute, dude.
Like foreshadowing and callbacks is like so awesome.
Yeah, because I love how, because again, we have to really remember that not only is she like holding up most of her power for that, but she's holding up a big glamour on her tattoo on her right arm. Because of now she's the High Lady of the Night Court, so now she has to glamour that.
Right, they thought that she only had the one tattoo for the bargain, and that the king broke that, and so that tattoo disappeared. They thought she's all quote-unquote fixed.
Which, I will say how dumb everybody thinks, because I think they brought that up somewhere in here. I don't exactly remember where, but he's just like, oh, everybody thought they broke the mating bond. I'm like, are you guys fucking idiots? Like,
I mean, clearly they've never had mating bond.
Again, you're right about that, because they haven't seen a mating bond probably in like 500 years, because
they haven't really seen one since probably Tamlin's parents.
So they don't know anything. So they're just assuming. I mean, I guess I can understand that, but also that is old magic. There's no, like, even we were kind of like at the end of last book with Amryn, we're like, none of us thought that the mating bond was gone. Okay.
And then Amryn, of course, is just like, it's not possible for it. But of course, Spring Court doesn't know that. I mean, it also seems like the mother doesn't like the Spring Court, considering that Sport haven't seen very many mates.
That's true. So, of course, you know, she senses Tamlin and Lucian approach. And I think it was something your mom brought up that I didn't have a way to reiterate it like last season, is that the strength that it takes to keep up this ruse this whole entire time, girl, I'll tell you right now, I'm not a good liar. Like, I'm a really great actress, but I gotta be playing a role to be able to hold up a ruse. I can't just lie as Tabitha. That doesn't really work like that.
Yeah. I mean, occasionally, like, I can, but, like, it doesn't last long, because then, like, the guilt starts, like, building up. But, like, honestly, in this case, Feyre doesn't feel any guilt about lying to them. So I think that makes it easier for her as well. And she has internalized, well, not even just internalized, actually outward, they just don't see it, anger as well, because of what was done to her sisters. And, like, just every bullshit thing that Tamlin did last book. So I think that's what, like, makes it easier. That it's not even necessarily a lie, it's just act, as you put it. Because she is playing a role in that sense.
And it's like, she herself comes out a little bit every now and we'll bring it up. Like, I've definitely clocked it. Where, like, true Feyre comes out and, like, in these very moments.
It's all for the purpose of her plan.
Yes. Everything is planned. Like, she is pulling a good Rhysand. She is, God, he would be so proud.
I mean, if she wasn't wearing a dress, she was wearing trousers, her hands would would be in her pockets.
Oh, yeah, it would be. Oh, sorry. That was sentimental. I love that. So Tamlin comes in and basically he says, Ianthe's coming.
Ugh.
She's finally coming back. And it's like, ooh, bitch.
Makes me so mad. I want to like punch her. And I'm not an island person.
I know. Good thing for her that she's sitting there like seething, bro. It's, so, she's coming back. What the hell is she gonna say?
But of course, put on the act like who's actually coming.
Yeah, I will say that something that Sarah did well is that, like, she wrote that Feyre calmed Lucian's fears a little bit, because remember, from the end of last book, Lucian was not too keen on Feyre. Like, he was very sus about her, and basically she calms his fear a little bit by, like, claims of faulty memory, which...
Faulty memory, and the memory she does have is like that she was like abused and shit.
Or like even to the extreme of she was brought into bed against her will.
Right, because that's what everyone's impression of Rhys is.
Good Jesus Christ. Even makes me mad. Dude, I'm like clenching my fist. Yeah, but so she's kind of talking, like she's monologuing to herself about, what happened last book, mad at Tamlin, Lucian again. I do want to say, I love how she talks about, because she said she was going to change before the thing with Ianthe. As she's going back to her old room, she doesn't go back to her old rooms. She's going to a new one, because I love how she talks about how her old room was shattered and covered in thorns and vines.
Thorns and roses?
Girl, the imagery here, she describes it as if 100 years had passed and it looked like a tomb. Dude.
Which is kind of insane because I guess we don't go too much into Tamlin's magic other than his shape-shifting magic. So for the fact that like actual like vines and thorns and stuff were able to grow that quickly.
Was that him? Was that the mother? I have no clue. Was that fate? I have no idea. But because the vines, thorns don't just grow like that. It hasn't been that long, bro. It's like 6 months, whatever.
Yeah, I know there are some getting like physical here. Like there are some plants that can grow that quickly. And sometimes when you don't pay attention to them is when it feels like they grow the fastest. But like even still, the way that it depicted here of like how many like vines there are, even that can't grow that much.
Yeah, so I just, that kind of gave me chills, because I was like, that's good. Because whether or not that was Tamlin's magic or whether or not that was some unknown entity, that is a big red flag.
100%. And the fact that the thorns and vines don't have roses is another point there.
True.
So I think it also is a good way. I know we're about to get into it, but like it's a good way of now she's not on Tamlin's side of the manor. She's on Lucian's side of the manor.
Okay, before I did want to say something about the roses thing. I like how you bring that up, because it's almost like it's like their love is dead,
right?
Like,
or it's no longer blooming.
Yeah, because at least from like this whole like first section, I don't think anybody in like a 5-block radius would see them and just, two people in love.
What a cute couple.
No, that is not what they're giving off at all.
You look at it and be like, you're telling me they're a couple? Are you sure?
It's just a good imagery for that and I dig that a lot. Yes. The next thing that she talks about, you're right, is that Lucian is right across the hall, which we'll get into why that's stupid as hell.
It is so perfect for her plan, though.
It's perfect, but also, like, I'm gonna say this a couple of times. I feel bad for him that he's kind of in the crossfire, but also, like, he kind of did this to himself,
And he's always kind of been the middleman between them.
Yeah, so why not be the middleman between the ruse?
Right?
So obviously she goes across the hall to him, and like Lucian is being very confrontational, like with her, which is kind of good because she can kind of be herself a little bit when she talks to him.
Yeah, but of course he can't say anything.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he's telling her now. He's telling her more things that he's like, Ianthe is going to lie. It's like, yes, Lucian, we all know. Thank you for telling. Because again, beforehand, that was the whole problem, right? He wouldn't warn, or nobody would warn her about, he didn't warn her about Ianthe back then. He could have very much as well said something, but again, that's a whole other thing because she was being very assaultive to him.
I think Lucian's just very, like, used. Like, in a way, he feels, I mean, obviously, at the end of last book, he was suspicious of her. And then now it's like, he's slightly suspicious about her, but he can sense that she's different. Yeah. And along with that, he's like, obviously, since he's made it to Elaine, he realizes Feyre's not freaking out that Elaine is with the Night Court. So he's like, well, okay, so maybe if I play my cards right, if I tell Feyre things, she won't push me away, so therefore I might be able to see Elaine.
Right. And also, I think I wrote it somewhere, I was like, I think it's funny because I don't think Lucian is like almost like 95% sure that he's right about his intuition, but like that 5% because he sees how she, talked to him very honestly is part of the good ruse, because then he's like, oh wait, is she actually on our side?
And it's almost like a callback in a way to how the two of them acted in the first book.
Oh yeah.
So it was like, they kind of had that bickering kind of thing where Lucian had the upper hand because Feyre was just immortal. Now in the third book, finally, the second book, we don't talk about that whole thing with Lucian. But now in the third book so far, Feyre clearly has the upper hand here. So it's like almost like it's almost like their roles are switched, but
100%.
like they're still kind of working towards that sibling thing, but it's definitely different now. It's definitely changed.
Oh, 100%. You're spot on. So it's like, funny you bring up Elaine in the same conversation. He's just like, hey, so do you know where she is? Asking again, probably for like the 5th time. He really wants to know where she is. And you know what? I got to admire him for his loyalty. He doesn't know Elaine from Adam, but he somehow like really wants to, which I guess is part of the mating bond. But I think, in a way, Lucian just wants to apologize. I think that's why he really wants to see her.
Yeah.
But by asking all these questions, he's going to get himself in trouble.
Yeah.
Really badly. So I will say, this is something she does a couple of times in here, and this is smart as fuck. Because remember, now that she's Fae now, she understands that they can sense dishonesty, and they can sense. So she dregs
fear and stuff.
Yeah, so she dregs up old memories like the Weaver, the Middengard worm, the Carver, like so that she can douse her scent in fear.
So smart.
Holy shit, that's awesome as hell. I'm just like, you know what? I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about that.
It's a good way to like back up the lie, basically. Like, because they would probably know that she was lying if she said, oh yeah, they hurt me, they made me do all these awful things. But like if she says that, but she, I don't know, it has like a sweet smell because of her love for Rhys, for example. Like,
right.
Then they're like, what the fuck? Are you like some kind of masochist or something?
Which is funny because Lucian is calling her out at every moment here. He's just like, she talks about how the mating bond's just a reaction, like you don't know Elaine, and he's like, is that what it was for you and Rhys? Like, he knows. It's like he knows that is bullshit. But again, he's just going with it.
He can't quite call it out because he's uncertain. Like I said, I think he really doesn't want to push Feyre away. Obviously, Feyre is his one connection to his mate. Elaine also, I agree with the apologizing thing. On top of that, he can't risk exposing her either.
Yeah, because Hybern's coming and they can't be against them, but also against each other.
Right. It's not just Tamlin anymore that they're like trying to avoid, or even like Ianthe to an extent. Now, because of Tamlin's deal, Hybern is allowed to come into the Spring Court. Tamlin is specifically hosting them at their manor, at his manor.
Oh,
which is
stupid.
So stupid. Like, okay, great, wonderful, good plan, great idea. So in this case, like, even if Lucian doesn't fully trust Feyre, he sure as hell trusts her a lot more than Hybern coming in. And that's going to be vital to both of their survival.
And especially this section. I definitely agree with that. So obviously their meeting with Ianthe goes as expected. We're just sitting there like her, like, ooh, bitch, we're all rooting for her to kill her right away. But we can't. I do like how when she describes Ianthe this time, she describes the jewel that she wears, and it kind of looks like one of Asriel's siphons because it's blue. And I'm like, is it the same thing? I doubt it, but like it kind of looks similar.
Yeah, I don't think she has enough power for it to be like a siphon.
Oh, if anything, it's for decoration. If it is a siphon, it's not like
I'm gonna wear pretty gems because what if she stole it from the Night Court when she was there?
Girl, maybe. I don't know.
That would be so stupid. But it would fit with her bastard character. No, I can't even call her a bastard because she's lower than a bastard.
She's a bitch. I mean, she's almost on the level of the C word to me.
Yeah.
Just with how much she gives women a bad name.
100%.
And she's fictional. It's wild how upset we get. But it's fair because there are women like this in real life. And we know.
Yep.
So obviously she gives them some BS story that she's like, well, I did it because, I thought Feyre would want her sisters around and, keep Hybern's allegiance. And I'm sitting there like, what?
First of all, you did something really bad and you're trying to make an excuse of like, I did it because, and trying to put it on like, I did it for you. I did all of this for you. That kind of vibe, which is something that she and Tamlin have in common. And it is so infuriating because it's like, no, bitch, you did it for you.
It's not even a good lie. Like,
it's not.
Oh my God. I do like, and I appreciate, and I think this is why we still Lucian throughout this section is that it's almost like Feyre, you know, he brings this up later, so I will save that, but I love how it's almost Feyre, unlike how Lucian didn't empower her, Feyre empowers him to spit back and speak up and da-da-da.
Because she knows how it feels.
Yeah,
and
but you know...
also because she's been in his head that one unintentional time. He knows how he feels.
Yeah, he's... Oh my goodness. Lucian's so sweet, but he's just like caught in the continual crossfire.
For him.
Like, Lucian tries to spit back at Ianthe, but Tamlin continually stops him from spitting at her. It's like, why? What does Tamlin have with Ianthe that somehow gets this sort of loyalty? Or not loyalty, but this respect.
They're old friends, apparently. Which they grew up together.
Whatever, bitch.
Which
Whatever.
I guess in Tamlin's mind means that in Tamlin's mind, his friendship with Ianthe then trumps his friendship with Lucian because he knew Ianthe long.
It's like, but she hasn't shown any... I understand what you're saying. It's just, she hasn't shown any sort of loyalty. If anything, she's just vied him. It's like, I really don't understand you, man. Like, okay, you know what? You're good for each other. You can fucking be with each other, bro.
At this point, y'all just fucking let these two go.
Well, and I will say that they bring this up later where they talk about, like, Tamlin and Ianthe as a duo, and it's like, isn't that, like, supposed to be them? Like, it's supposed to be Tamlin and Feyre, not Ianthe, but they always talk about them.
Yeah.
It's like...
At that point, though, I think about, like, Tamlin and Ianthe, and I just cringe.
Oh.
Because at this point, they kind of are good for each other, and that's just sad.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. It's like Lucian seems to, but besides Feyre, like Lucian is the only one who's like outwardly pissed about this.
Yeah.
Like, but Tamlin is just willing to let Hybern come in, and Hybern has, you know, promised with his bargain. Sorry. They explained that like Hybern has promised they won't like hurt anybody within his court.
Bullshit.
Also, so Hybern was the one who made the bargain. He can't hurt anybody, but like that, the bargain doesn't count for everybody in his court.
Because
like
he didn't specifically say like I won't hurt anyone. He didn't say my. It's not even really a court. He didn't even say like my kingdom won't hurt anyone. My commanders won't hurt anyone.
Yeah, so you know, us as elegant face scholars, like, hey, this is like a lose-lose deal here. Like,
it's so bad.
So, but yes, that BS happens, and he talks about our people. Gross. Well, dude.
No, people are up in the night court.
Yeah, it was wild. Like I was like, I don't like. It goes back to the whole like our child or what? My son.
Like if you think back to it, it's never been our people at the Supreme Court. It's always been Tamlin's people plus Feyre on the side. Like, it's always about we have to be a strong front for like my people, for our people. But then the strong front was Feyre breaking. That doesn't seem very strong. So,
which is so funny that you bring that up because they bring that up. I think later. I think in chapter 8 about how Tamlin gets mad at Lucian protecting the children of the blessed. And the only reason I'm bringing it up because I need to say this is that he brings up about he shouldn't be upset because they're humans. They're not our people. Ho ho ho! But they're your people. Wait. Just because they're humans doesn't mean that you don't give a shit about like they live or not.
Right. And if you remember, literally, Feyre was mortal. Those are her people still, regardless of if she's Fae now.
And he says that, but only she's allowed to be upset on their behalf, not Lucian. It's like, how does that make any sense?
Like it makes him almost as bad as Hybern in that sense.
Yeah.
And he claimed in the book that he didn't want to keep slaves or anything, that he wanted Fae and humans to be equal. Yeah, what about this, huh?
It's like somebody who says that they're not like racist, but like they're not outwardly, if that makes sense.
It's like they're not racist, but they won't hang out with black people.
Yeah, that's a good example. It's like, okay, I won't call them the N-word in public, but they're not good enough to hang out with. It's like, wait. That's still discrimination.
So stupid.
So, end of chapter, we find out that Jurian is coming.
Interesting. We only got a little like peek at him, basically, when he fired that damn dash arrow into Azriel's chest.
You're extra mad about that. So I just went, Jurian's coming. Another bitch to solve. Okay.
Hopefully he's like not as bad of a bitch as like, Ianthe.
I definitely say I'm intrigued because you're right. We haven't really got much of his character, so I'm excited to see about him. But yes, Hybern is coming. So, next chapter, chapter 2, next day.
Why did I sorry, just a little digression. Why did I get into my head like when you said Hybern's coming, I just thought of Andy's coming. Everyone relax.
I mean
that whole like trend of like Andy's coming and everyone just collapses.
Yep, that's funny. I didn't think that's how it feels. Okay, scatter. So I love how it's almost like if Sarah had a good time. It's like, remember Jurian, the human commander who shot our boy last book? We didn't. And again, let's reiterate like what they think about him. Like they think he's gone mad from all those years being a soul under Amarantha, which again sort of makes sense, and I'll reiterate this again when we get to it. I'm not so sure.
Right. It does seem pretty, in a way, sane for an insane person. That doesn't make him good, obviously, but like considering he spent 500 years as a ring, I think he's doing pretty okay, actually.
I think he's a kind of entitled to a little bit of craziness, I will say. But I think, again, I'm not so sure. But again, like we don't really know much about him. He's so 1D so far that I'm like, that's not really Sarah's way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, there's more to him than I am understand. Right. I will say he is a complete dick. Oh, yeah. He's a dick through and through, but I think there's more to it than just that.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, like with Sarah's characters, there's always multiple layers. And right now we're just seeing like the initial layer. Like there's not much to him other than he's a dick and everyone calls him crazy. He doesn't think he's crazy, or like he doesn't say anything about that. He doesn't seem to like focus too much on his trauma either. Like everyone else just calls him crazy. So it's like, okay, are you going to believe what everyone else says or figure it out for yourself?
Funny enough, I think he's the only person that I trust in actually saying words. Because every time he speaks, he's being very honest.
That's true.
In a weird way.
That is valid, though.
So again, I think we have to reiterate again, they're coming to take the wall down. Like, this whole excursion is for them to, like, see the parts of the wall so that they can shatter it. Lucian, I'm putting him in here, too. Lucian and Tamlin don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. They don't, they're not seeing it. They don't give two shits about the wall coming down and, like, the humans on the other side. It's like, this is bad for everybody, not just for them.
It is. It honestly really is. Like, that wall has been up for 500 years for a reason. You don't know what kind of effects are going to happen, like, once it comes down.
Because then now, like, let's say, you know, they have to protect their border now, so they have to have more guards stationed on their border. It's going to cost more resources, more people, da-da-da, like...
If you remember, Tamlin lost a lot of his sentries in those 50 years.
Yeah, so I will say something that they bring up that she learns tidbits of information. Apparently, the cauldron has been drained since turning her sister's fae. Ooh, interesting.
Seems like Nessa took a little bit more than was put.
The almighty, powerful cauldron that is the lifeblood of their, like, or the life force of their world is drained.
That's concerning.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited now, though. I'm like, I mean, it gives them time. I don't really think she's thinking about that, but we definitely saw it.
Oh, yeah.
We're like, big old red X next to that. I don't really know what that means, but...
That's concerning. The lifeblood of our literal, like, entire world is drained. That's concerning. Like, what effect is that going to have on us?
Right. So, again, Feyre reiterates to us about her plans. Like, her plan is figure out what they're going to strike, get as much information out to the inner circle as possible before up until... Because I didn't really think about this, but I love, like, the details of this. She has at least maybe probably a month because they think, like we reiterated before, they think that her mating bond is broken. She hasn't been using her talk with Rhysand that much, but you can't get rid of the smell or the sense of the mating bond. They think that it's because Rhys forced her or whatever, so he smells like her because of that. Or sorry, she smells like him because of that.
Right, and the, like, idea of, like, oh yeah, they fuck, they couple, so that's why she still smells like... But yeah, after a month, if she's still smelling like him...
That's it. The ruse is up. She's got to get out of there.
Dang, he must have forced her a lot.
Which we well know that there was no forcing.
No. I mean, she even asked for a wall, so that doesn't seem like forcing.
Same, but okay.
They don't know that, so I guess I can't fault them for that, but they're also still so stupid and oblivious.
I know. So she does sense it, because remember the end of last, they actually did talk to each other one time. They told each other how they were doing, and she talks about it like yelling down a long corridor.
Right.
And which I mean makes sense, because remember, you like to reiterate this a lot, like they just made it, so their mating bond wasn't so strong, so again it's like weakened again.
And they were also relying a lot on the bargain as well, like that was assisting it, like that was extra support holding up the mating bond. And so that, and then also the fact that they are literally on opposite ends of the Prince, so like distance wise that is also a long space to do that. Good thing they both have a lot of power. If you imagine if they didn't have that much power, or one of them didn't have that much power, they probably would like be able to work like that.
Yeah, it's like in going through shields and borders and the middle, like just that by itself.
Yeah, each like word probably has its own wards in a way.
Oh yeah, definitely. So they're strong as hell.
Yeah.
So Hybern comes today, so they're like outside of... We're laughing to each other because holy shit, this is funny. We're supposed to be scared of them, but I just think they're comic relief at this point. So she's outside waiting for them, Tamlin, Lucian, and her. And so we see Jurian, but we also see this really creepy set of twins, a female and a male. Sorry, she is like head on her hand. I put in my notes, here comes the incest twins. There are so many subtle, and like you can see this throughout this whole section. I didn't want to bring them up every time. I just wanted to overall say that is what she's implying.
Yeah.
Very much so. So they're the two Hybern commanders, Dagden, Prince Dagden, and Princess Branna. And they are the nephews to the King of Hybern.
The niece and nephew, yep.
So they're like, niece and nephew, which is hilarious because remember when last book we asked like if he had any children? I think he's just the creepy uncle.
Yeah.
Like almost like they're his kids, but in a weird way.
A very weird way, considering like indirectly said they fucked.
Because they said they wanted to share a room. It was like
they were adamant about sharing a room, specifically like, a bed.
You only need one.
We only need one bed.
I was like, okay, ew, that's not the one bed trope that I want.
No.
Also, Game of Thrones much. If anybody is a Game of Thrones fan, like I'm just, if anyone knows Game of Thrones, you have to be careful of the twins because more than likely they're probably. I just remember, I will say this is like my favorite thing of Cersei's during Game of Thrones is when she said, kind of like how Brandon kind of sees it. She's like, we came into this world together, we belong together. Cringe.
Cringe.
So to me, I'm just laughing at them.
Yeah.
I know we're supposed to be scared of them because they're pretty powerful people, but so Jurian obviously comes in with his like big fat mouth, talking shit. Because he's like, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Jurian like is so talkative compared to the twins.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a funny little entourage of the three of them.
Right. And they don't really seem to give a shit about him too much. Like,
I mean, he's still human, Tim.
Yeah, true. I kind of like how she's not afraid to stand up to Jurian, though. Because he's just like, it's not every day that, a war gets started over a female or something. And he was just like, she just spats like Miriam back at him.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is like also the fact of like, if you remember from the last book, when, Favorite pretended to break through Rhys's control, Jurian was the first one to speak, just saying like, what? Like, so Jurian was sus about it also from the beginning of like, no way, Rhys would not do that kind of vibe.
Oh yeah, like Jurian knows what she's playing. I think like, if anyone, I think he's the only one that sees through everything she's doing.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is why she like lets it down a little bit and then adds in that little bit of fire of throwing Miriam back in his face, which somehow Tamlin didn't question that at all.
Dude, exactly. If she forgot everything, why is it the one thing that she remembers? That's so random.
Why is she like docile and pretending, scared and stuff? But then the moment Jurian's up in her face, she's just like, she lets the mask drop for a moment, be like, nah, fuck you, man.
Oh, it's dude. You had the same question as like I think all of us did.
Yeah.
Does no one see this?
I'm sure Lucian did, but he's not gonna say anything.
Oh no,
he never does.
But so they have their first dinner together, which I put this in my notes this time because I remember I've read this book a lot, you guys. So this time when I was reading it, it was funny because when Feyre talks about how Branna is the one that talks all the time, she's the one, or Dagden does everything for her, like gets her the food, doesn't feed her, but probably almost close to. It's like Dagden is such the bottom of their relationship. He's such a simp for her, and it's like, ooh.
You can clearly see who, as you said, bottom versus tops in the relationship. Clearly, Brannick is more. I mean, as I was telling Tabi before recording, pre-recording, of Brannick definitely seems to be more of the brain, and Dagden is brawn.
Mm-hmm. Which then I said kind of works for them, but again, let's remember they're still siblings.
I mean, okay, so you can technically have a top versus bottom, more versus sub kind of relationship that's not necessarily sexual, but at the same time, because we know we can see the underlying message that there is incest, that makes it so much worse.
Oh yeah, 100%. So, but another important thing that we have to remember is we learn very quickly that it's true. Feyre sees that they're communicating, so she thinks they're Daemati, like she is, which makes them more dangerous because she hasn't really run across any other Daemati besides Rhys.
Rhys mentioned that Daemati were kind of rare. There weren't too many of them, but there were enough that some people trained against their abilities. But Feyre definitely was not expecting to come across it.
No, that just...
It does kind of make sense, though, that Hybern would have Daemati in his rank.
It makes them valuable, especially going into enemy territory with them. It makes sense that they sent them.
Yeah.
But I think what's so interesting is that, Tamlin's whole thing now is that he's letting her do things more without fight or without, how he was before. Again, that doesn't make up for anything, but so I want to say letting her, but Lucian and her are going to go with the Hybern people and Jurian. I don't really lump him in there, but she doesn't either.
Jurian's
to go.
Jurian.
I don't know his motives yet, but they're not for any side, I don't.
Right. He's just there.
Yeah. So they want to go visit the holes in the wall.
Which I was confused about because I didn't know there were multiple holes.
Yeah, because we only were talked about one.
Right.
There's like 3 or so or something.
Yeah, at least 3 known ones.
And on the mainland, because they made it very clear that it had to be on the land, which, again, if it's magic, why do they need, like, if it's just going to break the wall anyway, just break it from afar? Like, I didn't really get that.
Right.
Maybe it needs to be near, I don't know, but she immediately, Tamlin seemed a little tense about her going. She says, oh, if only they knew what I did at the Rainbow in the attack on Valaris. If only they knew.
They would probably be scared of her, actually.
Oh yeah, she was a whole badass, and like, she is not afraid to go out with them in the woods at all, which, good for her.
So much improved from the first book. Now she's taken the her attitude from the first book, combining it with the power she learned about in the second book, and now it's like she's completely the High Lady of the Night Court in the third book.
And this is why I told your mom that I was like, even in the first book, Feyre wasn't really truly herself, if that makes sense. She was in a place where she was always caged down, and even if she had like her fighting spirit, it wasn't as much as it would be. Now it's like,
do much about it either because she didn't have the physical power.
That too. I will say another red flag from their conversation that I noticed, because Jurian brings up Amarantha like nothing,
right.
Which I guess to him, Amarantha was his whole life, so kind of makes sense that he brings her up, but I didn't notice this on my first read when looking back at first when Kamath, but they didn't talk about Amarantha at all. You couldn't talk about her, like it was kind of, you couldn't say it at all, which on a level is big old red flag, because I feel like the not talking about it leaves that open to suppressing it.
And also misunderstandings,
but also it's like, that's why Rhys talked about her. Like, even though it hurt him to talk about it, it was, we need to talk about it to move past it. Not that we might ever move past it fully, but to not let it control us as much.
Right.
So I did notice that when reading this, because like everybody tensed when Amarantha was brought up, and she noticed it. She's like, yeah, we never really could talk about Amarantha without somebody being like, don't bring it up, or da-da-da.
Right.
So Jurian doesn't give a fuck. He just like is talking. He's, ooh, I wonder about your eye. I wonder how you got it done or whatever. And Lucian's like, oh, I have a friend at the Dawn Court. So apparently the Dawn Court, we haven't really heard much of them, which is kind of sad, but apparently they're known for like tinkering and, building things. Just kind of cool.
Yeah.
Which is that how he got his eye?
Yeah.
But Jurian just needs to shut the fuck up, man, because I think before Feyre kills him, Lucian's going to kill him. Like, keep bringing up talking about Elaine. He's like, oh, I wonder if your mate has a rival or something. It's like, what are you doing?
Like, oh yeah, your mate's probably been like fucked multiple times by now.
Oh my god. Yeah, by the Illyrian army. It's like, shut the fuck up, Jurian.
Honestly though, it feels like Jurian's kind of put on a mask as well in a way. Like, he's just doing a trial at Lucian.
Just to fuck with it. But that's also just him trying to be a dick.
That's true. He also ends up being like cover up for the twins. Well,
yes.
So this is probably why they brought him along.
Because I think he knows so much that's against Rhys, against them. Like, he's just someone he knows a lot of information. And so he's perfect to rile them up. I hate how one of the twins brings up about the wings. And it's so sweet because Feyre's like, oh, remember last book, Rhys thought that his sister and mom's wings were in the manor somewhere.
Right.
Up as trophies. And she looked throughout the manor. She looked everywhere and she couldn't find them. Which I guess is good, but also bad because, like, where did they go?
Right.
Which I'm going to say this, and I thought about it the first time. I don't think his sister's dead. I don't have any proof. I don't have anything to give you. But the fact that we don't see the wings, I'm just wondering. This is me thinking big, Tabitha Big Brain.
I mean, I think we talked about it in the first season about how we didn't think the sister was dead. But also, if the other side of that is, we remember that Rhys said that they sent their heads down the river in boxes.
I know. It's not I know.
It's not cut and dry, I know. Technically, they could glamour the heads and shit, and probably Rhys in his anger wouldn't be able to tell the difference, maybe. So, like, I feel like maybe that is, like, a chance. Like, it would be a really cool, like, plot twist. At least the sister was still alive.
I think the mom's dead. I don't know. Any time where it's, like, a sister and mom duo, more than likely the mom sacrifices herself for the younger.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, okay, I don't see 2 sets of wings, and we don't ever we never get them because in the same section, Tamlin says, oh, I burned them a long time ago or something.
Yeah.
That's just me. Again, now that we're getting more into these seasons, now we can openly talk about this stuff, which I'm glad about. I don't have any proof. I don't have any knowledge. This is just me and my, crackhead thinking of, oh, if I don't see somebody's dead, they're not dead. It's like the TV show mentality.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, with Sarah, you never know.
So I don't believe it. And if she doesn't see them, I don't believe it. But again, I digress. I just, dude, Jurian, I will say, like, Jurian is definitely a character, if not. He said, just wow. They say you were fucking Rhysand before you jilted your own lover. Girl!
Wow.
So that's not true, but he's kind of right. Not in that way. He just has to make it crass. What the fuck?
I do. There's part of me that does like that as his character, though.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Like you said, like, it's just comedic at this point.
Mm-hmm. So there's just the shit he says throughout this whole thing is hilarious, but especially that one. I was like, oh, again, like you said, it was a distraction, especially that one. It was a distraction so the twins could slide in their minds, but Feyre catches it immediately because she's on alert.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, Tamlin and Lucian's minds aren't affected. They're not Daemati. They don't really know. I think they have powers to be able to, but
their shields are weak.
Yeah, they're not hiding. So not only does she protect herself from them, she protects them as well.
Which surprises Branagh and Zach.
Oh, dude, they flew back in their chairs.
Like, physically, like, I can, like, totally imagine it happening where at the same time, they both comically, like, jolt back in their chairs.
Uh-huh.
Which, of course, will draw everyone else's attention.
It's just so funny because they can't expose themselves either. So Tamlin's like, what happened? And then what does Feyre say? She's like, nothing.
Like, are you guys okay?
It's like, their highnesses must be tired after such a long journey.
Slowly, like, drags a mental claw against their shields.
Dude, and they shiver, and it's like, dude, Rhysand, I would be so proud.
Yeah, so proud. Also, I think it was, like, interesting the fact that, you know, obviously Feyre's mental shield is adamant, which is what Rhys's shield is, hence where she learned that. But the fact that the twins have, like, bone walls.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, like, that kind of seems like a theme, considering, you know, Hybern's castle seemed like it was made out of bone. Obviously the throne was made out of bone. Like, there's themes going on here.
Definitely. And that might be how she's seeing it, but I think it's also just them.
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny because, yeah, you're right. They were not expecting. And I will say, she says that she seems to have a headache afterward, which that's not good, obviously. But considering all the power she is using now, we don't really know how that works.
She should drink more water.
Just up in the air with that. But, yes. So the fact that, like, Jurian winks at her, though, before the chapter ends, I'm like, okay, how much do you... Yeah, I think he does. Like, I think Jurian knows way more than, like, pretending. So, yep, you know, chapter 3, into the woods we go. So they, you know, like they planned, they're going into the woods. I will say the funniest thing about them going out there is that even the little animals are running away from the twins.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they don't, that's a big red flag right there.
Yeah.
So they're traveling with them and they go to the first hole in the wall where Feyre came through, actually. They're going through, because that's actually, if we think about it, that is the closest one to the manor.
Which
is kind of like a straight shot.
Totally thinking that, like, you know, back in the first book, that it was such a long journey to the wall. But now, I mean, obviously on Red Light it is 2 days to her village, but it's actually not that far in the Spring Court.
No, it's like a straight shot up, basically. Yeah. I will say, nobody knows what made the hole in the wall, which I think is super, super fucking interesting.
I thought that, like, obviously, going way, way back to the first book, like, getting when they're like, yeah, there's holes in the walls that creatures creep through. Like, I guess I didn't think about the fact that someone or something had to have made those holes. I thought the holes were just, like, there after, like, wear and tear of 500 years in the magic.
Right.
So, like, they were weakened or they were just naturally weak. So I definitely was, when I first read that, I'm like, wait, so you're telling me, like, that something powerful went through this wall to make it this hole, to make this weak point. Like, that's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, like, I didn't really have an idea of what made it, but the only thing at the point that I thought, the only thing that would be powerful enough to me that'd be able to make something like that would have been, like, something like Carver or the Weave, which doesn't make any sense because, like, they're in prison. Because, again, the wall was built, like, 500 years ago. At this point, Carver's in the prison, the Weaver's in the... So, obviously, it wasn't them.
Right.
They're in prison in their place. Yes, something like that. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
Which would be terrifying if that thing was actually, like, around.
Like, it stuck around.
Well, Rhys talked about last book about how he put people in there, too. So, could have been one of them. I don't know. The only things that seeming like to me could do that are the things in the prison. So, I mean, honestly, we don't even know to this day who it was or what did it.
I mean, another idea, this is just a theory, obviously, but, like, the fact that, you know, the wall was put up when they made the treaty, so then, hence, like, the treaty is, you know, law. So, for something to walk through the wall is basically breaking the treaty, breaking the law. there, so that would be valid that they go to the prison because they committed that crime of breaking through the wall.
Yeah, definitely.
And then no one was able to patch up the wall, so they just had to leave it.
Right. Again, like we reiterated, there are 3 walls that they know about.
3
and
holes.
Again, I stop.
I'm just correcting slightly because you said 3 walls.
Oh, I thought I said holes. Sorry.
You're all good.
Not 3 walls. I do like how she's noticing what everyone else doesn't notice. Like, the thing I'm talking about is how the twins are quote-unquote noticing how close her and Lucian are, which is the funniest plot of this entire section. Is just this constant everybody thinking that, like,
they're together.
They're together, which is so fucking dumb. It's so funny. It's like, honestly, you know what it makes me think of? It almost makes me think about, like, when people think we're together.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, people will just assume shit, and then, you know, we use it to our advantage.
You guys hang out and talk all the time? Like, you must be dating.
It's like, do you know what intentions are, man? Like, oh my god. But now that she's noticed that, hell yeah, she's gonna use that to her advantage.
100%.
So obviously, yeah, you know, as they're looking at the wall, they're kind of expositing, the twins are kind of expositing information, but not much. Because, yeah, Lucian brings up a good point about how there must be holes in the continent side of the wall, which makes sense. But of course, they don't want to go all the way over there because why, when they're this close to this one?
Right.
I love how she turns commander all of a sudden. She's telling them, okay, we'll go to the next, you know, one in like however many days time. Can you guys winnow? It's like, are you as powerful as me? Because I can carry, like, you know, so many things.
Going back to, like, even just last book when she struggled to carry Reese when she went out.
I know. Now she's so powerful now.
I mean, she's had nothing to do but practice.
Right. And I love this talk that her and Lucian have when, you know, they're fucking off and the twins are kind of observing the hole or whatever. Is that, again, it goes back to, like, Lucian knowing something is wrong, but, like, he doesn't know what. It's like, he knows she's up to something, but he's, like, willing to go along with it.
Right, all for the sake of seeing Elaine again.
Yeah, he said, whatever you're planning to do, it'll put us knee deep in shit. And it's like, you're welcome. But it kind of goes back, I kind of like how we're seeing them talk to each other because we haven't seen them talk since the first book, and it's kind of nice in a weird way.
It is. It's not, I mean, it is still tense, like the second book, but, like, again, it's going back to that kind of, not quite bickering, but, like, getting along of the first book.
Right. And he reiterates to her again, like, if he was alive during the war, he would have fought for the humans. So again, she can't even comprehend, and us as readers can't comprehend why even that would be the case. Why we would be fighting with Hybern. Why would you do this? Even for her. It's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. So we learn a little bit more about that day, is that Lucian saw, he came back before Tamlin came back, and he saw her melted ring on the ground, and threw it away before Tamlin could see it.
It was almost like Lucian was, like, saying, like, in a way, like, okay, they took her, I'm gonna get rid of this ring, hide the evidence as a way of apology to give her a break or something, which obviously was not really worked, but I guess it's the thought that...
Which is so funny because I kind of think kind of the opposite. I think, like, not opposite of what you're saying, but I think in some way he knew that it wasn't them that melted it off her finger.
Yeah.
Because why would they do that? Why?
Right, and also the fact that he remembers seeing her claws, her talent. So he knows that she has a little bit of power, at least.
Why would he want to hide it if it wasn't something, like, again, she's already taken. What would that have done for Tamlin? It's because he knew that it was her that did it.
But
so
then again, it comes back to the whole idea. Gabriel said it in his interview last season of, like, Lucian is an enabler. Like, he enables all of Tamlin's bad behaviors.
Yeah, dude. So obviously she's telling Lucian not to get too discouraged by Jurian, like he's just doing it to rile him up. And yep, here's the starting of using Lucian as a jealousy chip because Jurian sees them together and he's like, careful, Lucian, you see what happens to males who touch the High Lord's belongings. Ew. But in a weird way, he's right. Like, of course he said it in a gross way, but it is because it's in a gross way.
Yeah.
Because that's how she's seen.
It does kind of feel like Jurian's almost mocking that, though, which, again, I agree with you. He is probably the most honest one here. There's
out of their group
character, we just haven't seen it yet. I just know it.
He's so intriguing to me, but
yeah.
So obviously they come come back, and when they ride back, Ianthe's like waiting to formally introduce herself.
Big entrance.
Big eye roll. What's also comical about this is that even the Hybern Royals and Jurian don't really care about her. Like,
they just like, walk past her and be like, eh.
It's like the Quinns don't care, and then Jurian just seems to hate her, which, hilarious.
And she's just like, I'm so wonderful, and everyone just walks past her. Just, okay, I'll see you at dinner.
And I'm not trying to, like, humanize the Hybern Royals in any way, like, they're definitely monsters, but I think that's what's good about a good book, right, is that we kind of have a common ground here, where none of us really like her.
A common ground where everyone hates her.
Which, is fair. That also, even that is kind of bullshit, because it's like, okay, so everyone seems to not like her, but somehow Tamlin still does, or at least tolerates her.
Toxic.
So this part made me actually very mad, because when she's talking, she talks to Feyre directly, and she's just like, what do you want? And of course, like, Feyre stops it. She's like, I'll talk with you in a while or whatever. And then so she kind of takes Lucian's arm, and which I think was for real. It's like, I hate that she's using Lucian at times, but I also think some of it's genuine. I still love him, but we have to play the game. This is like swim killed or be killed. Sorry.
It's like swim or swim. It's like swim or drown.
Yeah. In this, it's swim or sink. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Can't remember my own phrases. So, sorry. I first of all, I said, oh shit, it's a summer solstice already? It's like, oh my god, like, this is going to be so different than the summer solstice that they had previously.
No more dancing with the will-o'-the-wisps.
This isn't fun anymore. Fact that Lucian trembles at Ianthe made me so pissed.
Yeah.
I was like, whether or not it was out of anger or fear, whether or not it was a little bit of both, I don't care.
She has hurt him.
So this is like the big part that we know about that obviously makes Ianthe was already dead to us. This right here is like cherry on top.
Yeah.
So we learned that Tamlin flat out refused to participate in Calanmai, the rite. And guess who went in his place?
Literally his duty as the High Lord to do it.
I know. And he went in his place.
To do it?
Ugh. And what's fucked up about it is that she insisted and Tamlin let it be. So Ianthe insisted to be the one, which, first of all, if we're remembering from the first book, that's really not how that rite worked, by the way. He, like, takes the magic or whatever, and then he finds the maiden or whoever.
The magic makes him choose a maiden.
And you don't just get to participate. Like, that's not how it made it seem.
Like, unless Ianthe literally made it so that there was no other female there, and that she was the only one to be chosen. Like, she's just like, I can totally imagine Lucian doesn't even take the magic into his body. Like, she just pulls him into the cave and fucks him.
Which is, she got what she wanted, and now she's back. She hasn't talked to him at all. Like, she just backed off because she got what she wanted. Like, there's a Prithian list of guys to sleep. Like, oh, I checked off. Lucian's like, gross as fuck. Get the hell out of here.
Traumatize all of these men, fuck them only once, and then, like, just leave them alone as if they're worth less than dirt.
Calm down. We can get upset about this, but holy shit, riled up. Okay, funny part about that, though. The funniest part about when he's talking about this is she's like, oh, that was so-and-so months ago. That was the same time that me and Reese were in the cabin.
They were making their own magic.
The same day as Calanmai, they were in cabin. That is...
I mean, and we know that Reese released a lot of magic that night.
Oh my god. They've made their own Calanmai. Oh my god. I mean, obviously, what happened to Lucian was so sad, but also I was like,
they
oh shit.
Fields too.
Yeah. So, I will say Lucian says something that kind of made me go, aw, because, she talks about, oh, I wish I was there, I would have stopped, He's like, you've been a better friend to me, Feyre, than I ever was. It's like, at least you realize it.
Yeah.
Oh, the fact that he also says, please don't tell Elaine that I took Ianthe to bed, it's like, oh. It's like, oh, when we find her, it's like, oh, babe, I won't.
It's like, even though people who do find their mates, like, they've had, like, partners before, so it's, like, not anything. But so the fact that, like, Lucian is just like, don't tell her I fucked another female. Like, Elaine doesn't really know you, Lucian. I mean, but, like, also, Elaine doesn't really know you.
I think I think the reason that is because he knows that she was human, so he thinks that maybe she had never had sex before, which we both know is not true, because last book, Nesta told us wasn't true. So, but that's kind of sweet, though. I still think it's sweet, but also, you're right, like, it shouldn't matter, but it's a sweet sentence. But, as we move on, this is one of my favorite scenes of this whole part, and it's so small, but I love, like, you know how I said Jurian was the one who saw what she was doing? I actually think there's somebody else who knows everything that's going on, and that is Alice, bro.
Oh, 100%.
Alice sees everything, because not only, because of her, like, she's her attender, but she sees Feyre Feyre's body alone. Like, alone, Feyre's body is way better than it was.
I mean, Alice literally says that, like, she had to let out the hems and, like, the waist seam of, like, all of these dresses because of how much she filled out, of how muscular she is, how much, like, weight she's gained. Like, she is healthy.
Yeah, and so Alice can see that just off that. But another important thing that she does bring up is that she talks about how she's feeding Hybern lies about the Night Court during, like, their meetings or whatever, which is important because she's telling them where, like, the strongest Illyrian camps are, but they're actually the weakest ones are actually the strongest ones or whatever. Yeah. But Alice is a fucking savage during this scene, by the way. She's like, oh, I don't know what I should wear for solstice. And she's like, you can wear this. And it's the Night Court clothes.
And she's just like, no.
Well, not only, like, it's almost like she took her so much off guard that she's like, don't fuck me over here. Like, Feyre knows that Alice knows what's going on. I love how Feyre is finally getting what we know from her time when Moore came to save her, is that Alice was the one who said, please, like, take care of her and let her go.
Yeah.
Because she saw everything.
Yeah.
And she never told anyone else.
She was one of the few people or only person that saw what was actually happening. Lucian saw some things, but, like, Alice saw it from the get-go.
Yep. And she's smart as hell to figure it all out because she kind of monologued and she tells us servants talk, which is, this is a big hitter, dude. Servants talk, and that's, like, a big thing about how people tell about, like, a leader or something, which is why the whole thing with the centuries later makes Tamlin that bad because everybody on the ground is talking. So she said not once under the mountain did ever she hear about Rhysand hitting a servant or being cruel to somebody weak, which shows to her that he's not overtly cruel as everybody says he is.
Yeah, and we gotta remember Alice is from the Summer Court as well, originally.
So yeah, she also talks about how, not forget, her family lives in Adriata. So when they went, she heard not only about Rhysand's visit, but also how she was acting.
I mean, it makes sense, other than servants talk, the fact that Alice has friends who work in the palace directly, like maybe even like worked or talked with or heard Feyre talking with Rhys, for example. Clearly, Alice is understanding that this is all one big lie.
This isn't what,
Feyre looked happy and full and was laughing and content and stuff.
You know, and you can't fake that.
No.
Even if you were hypnotized, you couldn't fake that happiness.
No.
I love this line though, bro. I love this line. She's like, they say you came back different, came back wrong. A crow's laugh. I never bother to tell them I think you came back right. Came back right at last. Girl!
Snaps.
We love Alice, bro. We loved her since day one.
She's a great character.
And the thing is, we can't really blame her for not speaking up because, again, she's not in a place of power. Now, if she was living maybe in the Night Court, she probably could talk to Rhysand direct.
Right.
But we're not in a place where that sort of can be said.
Right.
So, God, yeah, Alice is a trip, man. I love that scene so much. So, of course, moving on from that, chapter 4, it's the day of the summer solstice, and it is definitely not like how it was before. We all knew that. It's not, I mean, the festivities are still happening, like in the night, but the religious undertones that are going on this whole day is kind of annoying.
It takes away the fun of it.
Yeah. Like, I'm a Christian and still know that it's like, okay, we're not gonna get up at 8 or like at the dawn of the day and like go to service for however many hours. It's like, Jesus Christ.
And, I'm not religious, but, I respect religions and stuff. So if it were like a small little thing of like, thank God, that kind of thing, but this turns into like hours long services at crack of dawn. I'm not a morning person. I'm not going to that.
Well, and it's also not about God. It's about her, about Ianthe.
Exactly.
So
she just wants to hear herself talk.
She wants to make herself feel important, which is like the whole thing.
Also, just the whole entourage from Hybern do not want to be there.
Like, but Jurian just fell asleep.
The twins are probably thinking they'd rather be fucking.
Yeah. But they can't because they're like up behind them, so they're like seen.
Yep.
I will say I love how it's like the longest day of the year versus the longest night of the year. This is like literally her opposite day.
Yeah.
I do love how she brings up Tarquin though, because I really want to see him again because again, it's the summer solstice, so obviously in summer there must be doing something. I think the reason I wanted to bring this up is because that's still Tamlin does not know about her visit to to Adriata. Tarquin kept his word, even after everything.
Yeah.
Tamlin never knew about Adriata. The only person that does is Alice. So I really want to see him again, and hopefully in a good.
Me too.
I have hope for that.
I hope it's solved with the blood rubies.
Yeah, because they're gonna have to get past that. Like, war is coming, man. I know that was a big slight, but now we have to work together, bro. I love how she's painting herself as this pure savior, because it again is going against Ianthe, and oh god, it's so much better than just killing her outright.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little reminiscent of the wedding, right? Because everyone's gathered and Feyre's in a white dress. But
I love the fact that Feyre helped Ianthe plan this, though.
Oh yeah,
and like specifically had it so that all of bad people that we don't like was away from her and Lucien.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it was so hilarious.
So funny.
I love how during the ceremony, though, she's reminiscing about her wedding. She's just like, you know, Rhysand saved me and da-da-da, and it's so sensitive. I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I love how she also brings up, like, everyone saw how Feyre suffered, but somehow lied to Tamlin to save his feelings. It's like, I don't get it. I mean, I guess I know if they're High Lord, but he never deserved that. It's pity, if anything.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
Nope.
So, again, like you said, everyone's falling asleep, like, everyone's not really paying attention, and everything is done perfectly by Ianthe to look important. You're right, because Feyre paired, she ruins her big moment by she moved her stone over, so it wasn't in the right place for the sunrise.
The fact that Ianthe needed a stone to know exactly where to stand to have the sun rise directly between her arms.
It's like an X marks this. It's like, okay, I have to remember my entrance.
And just the fact that, like, she's probably thinking of, like, wait, but, like, I know that was in the right place. So has the sun literally changed its trajectory to bless Feyre?
Oh, 100%. That's why it makes her so mad about it.
Yeah.
Is because that's what she thinks. And not only does the sunlight get on her, but she lets her day court magic go. And so she starts to glow.
So she makes it seem like she's actually being blessed.
Girl! Feyre, curse breaker!
Cauldron blessed.
Cauldron blessed. Mm-hmm. And dude.
Lucien.
Oh, it's so sweet. Like, Lucien drops to one knee before her because he thinks that she's getting blessed, which, I mean, she is.
She's blessing herself because she worked hard for it.
But also, he doesn't care. Like, he's never kneeled before Tamlin. At least from ours, I haven't seen him do that.
The only time we've seen him bow was when Rhys made the both of them bow in the first book.
Yeah. We love Lucien, bro. A knight before his queen. Oh, we're gonna turn him 100%.
100%.
We both saw that.
Yeah.
I love how at the end of that section, though, she looks at Ianthe and she says, I lit a little bit of the wolf show. Ooh, yeah, it's like a big fuck you to her. 100%. All to undermine her authority.
Yeah.
And so, said during the party, she stays by Lucien the whole time, and he doesn't mind. If anything, they're like... Yeah, it's like they're leaning on each other a little bit.
Yeah.
But she's also, like, mingling with the people. It's like, again, we can't hate everybody in the spring court, but, like you said, they're complacent with everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of hard. Again, she doesn't want to do this to them, but she needs to.
Also, throughout all of this, I am, like, impressed always by the fact that she, you know, she's staying next to Lucien, you know, giving him comfort as a friend. But at the same time, it fits into her whole plot of, you know, feeding off of everyone's thoughts that they're, like, flirting and that they're gonna be together and undermining Tamlin, while at the same time giving Tamlin sultry look, just like last solstice.
That's because Lucien is seeing it in the very innocent way of staying beside him because, you know, she wants company. And then it's so layered.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, it's so perfectly well done. And I'm like, dude, I'm proud.
So proud of her.
I'm proud to see our protagonist so cunning.
Yeah.
I think the sweetest part about this is that she goes into, like, another room for a little while and she talks to Rhys down the bond.
Finally.
Oh, because he says, she's like, the longest day of the year. I wish I could spend it with you. It'd be an honor to spend even a moment in the company of Feyre, cauldron blessed.
He's still trying to use that humor, but we both know that he's struggling real bad without his mate.
He's so cute. He says, when do you come home to me?
Not just when do you come home, when you come home to me.
Oh, that's so rude. Fuck, now
extra depth of just how much, you know, obviously, like, we know that he fell in love with her before they even had the mating bond, but, like, he's, like, doing, like, all these things, you know, at the end of the last book, he's like, we go to war, we prepare, that kind of stuff, but clearly he's struggling so much without her there.
No, because not only as, like, her, you know, his lover, but as his friend and confidant and all those things.
From literally last book, they spent nearly every day together.
Yeah.
Or if they weren't together, they were passing notes. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is the longest they've been apart.
I know, and it's so sad. Imagine talking to Reese and then having to go back to the it's like, holy shit, I don't want to be here.
Right.
But she immediately goes back to the party and talks and asks Tamlin to dance. I was like, ooh, rough.
Very different from the dance with me Feyre kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, let's dance. It's like, you want to dance with me? That kind of vibe with Reese at Starfall. This is very different from that.
He's also shocked. He's like, oh, of course. But she's playing him like a fucking fiddle, bro, which is ironic.
Yeah, because I don't see this bill anywhere.
He just like so easily falls for the fact like she's trying to, you know, get back with him.
So blind. I don't know how many times I have to say it.
It's so bad though, because when I read it this time, I was like, oh shit, she compares Tamlin to Amarantha. Because she's like, oh, I can't fathom how Rhysand did this for 50 years. That's another level of, again, we know she's faking, but again, like she's comparing Tamlin to Amaranth of how bad it was to lie and be with him. Ooh, that's really bad.
At that point, Tam, you fucked up bad.
Mm-hmm. So obviously she tells him what he wants to hear. And as she's like going up to her bed, the stars winked into existence and she felt like her family was being her company.
Mm-hmm.
It was so sweet. I was like, oh.
I think I don't know, I might be overthinking it here, but like the fact that she didn't really want to be outside when the night was happening, because like the night in the summer court is not, the night in the spring court is not as pretty as the night in the night. It reminds her of that in a way.
And I feel like she'd want to be alone looking at night than out in a group of people.
And also she had a job to do.
Yeah, so again, the first time, I don't know about you, but the first time I reread chapter 5, I needed to reread it because I didn't really understand what happened.
I was like, this chapter, this scene was the most that I reread in like this first section.
Because I was like, wait, what's happening? Wait, is she actually having a nightmare? Because she still had nightmares. Like, they don't just go away, but now she doesn't wake up vomiting.
Point, like, she literally makes herself have the nightmare.
That's wild. So she, again, before we get too excited.
I was just gonna say, that's like a flex, though. Be able to say, like, I have conquered my nightmares so much that I can now make myself have one and not let it bother me.
Yeah, I don't even know if I could. I mean, obviously, I couldn't do something like that. I mean, maybe, but I don't really know what it would have to entail. But she just started thinking about all the bad things, almost like making herself have a panic attack.
Yeah, right.
By thinking about all the things. So Feyre goes back to her bedroom and she puts on her most sexy nightgown, which I should have known when she did that was kind of a red flag to see.
Tamlin.
Big eye roll. So yeah, again, at first read, I didn't really understand, but ooh, girl. So you're right. She makes herself have panic attack, nightmare, and of course, who does she run to but the person across the hall? Just happens to be Lucien. So funny thing is that she knocked twice, and the thing is, he comes on like the second knock. He's like, oh, I like sensed you or whatever. Half naked, like buttoning up his pants.
He's buttoned up. Honestly, does he sleep naked? Probably. But
he did, yeah.
But he's like buttoning up his pants. It's like, yeah, I heard you scream.
So let's remember that Lucien is still like a hot tamale, bro. Like, he is hot as hell.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was never one time, like, again, I'm reiterating back to our first season when I was talking about how my high school friends thought Lucien was like contender. I never once thought that her and Lucien had that sort of relationship. I always thought it was friendly and or brotherly. So the fact that she's like, this is so funny. So he's like buttoning up his pants and, you know, he's letting her talk it out. And the fact that she uses Tarquin's water gift to make herself cry.
Rather than just like actually make her like herself have her own tears, she just uses the water, like makes it pretend that it's actual tears. I mean, and it would be salty considering it's seawater probably.
Just wild. This is so wild. It's also, so cool.
The fact that like she stepped into his room now too. They're not just standing out in the hall.
Oh yeah.
But she leaves the door open.
Which we didn't know because that wasn't said.
Right.
It wasn't until afterwards that it was said. That was because nobody paid attention. I do like how it's the whole thing of like the art of telling half-truths. She is kind of telling him the truth about how she, you know, has nightmares. But obviously we know the lie about it is that it's not, but he can't sense the dishonesty because she is kind of telling the truth.
I've read like a lot of mafia type stories or like spy stories, and the best lies are the ones that have truth in them.
Right.
Because it makes you question what's real or what's not.
Well, yeah, because I feel like she sometimes does look at her left hand and be like, wait, when am I?
Yeah.
Like, I actually don't remember.
Right.
And so she jumps on Lucien and hugs him like half naked, and they're just like intertwined in each other.
And of course her nightgown is kind of see-through in a way because she got all sweaty from her quote-unquote nightmare, and it's like all hiked up and shifting around on her body.
We know Lucian is totally innocent about this, but anybody walking in on it, yeah, that looks bad.
It looks really bad.
So, yes, so Tamlin walks in on them, I was shook.
Because she sent out her shadow snares. Like, and she senses him coming and releases, like, the wall that she had put up around the room so that now he can smell her in there.
It was all a setup because she put the air up so Lucian couldn't sense that Tamlin was coming and then lets it go when he shows up so that they both don't notice it.
Right.
Until, they don't care about it.
Mm-hmm.
She knew Tamlin would work up the nerve to come to her bedroom that night because of how she was acting to him the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
So, she stirs, faked her senses, left the door open, like, damn.
Also, I do want to point out, though, like, literally this whole time that she's been here, she has not had sex with him once because of the force that she claims that forced her to do. Like, so the fact that, like, Tamlin was gonna, like, come up to her room after all this and, like, assume that they were gonna fuck or something.
I mean, and I think this kind of goes back to, honestly, something your mom said last season when she asked about if they have depression. I don't really think they understand how, I don't want to say how trauma works, but, like, to him, it's kind of like a let go. Okay, when is she gonna let that go? And we can go back to, like, our, our natural activities.
Let's just fucking ignore everything again. Let's go back to that.
I'm glad she doesn't have sex with Odo. She, like, slams the door in his face when she goes back into the hallway. I still hate that Lucian is kind of struck in the crossfire of her deception, but honestly, when I read this the first time, I didn't get it. I didn't give a shit. I didn't care.
Yeah, valid.
I was like, I mean, like, I love Lucian, but also I was like, honestly, you've been collateral this whole time. Why not do it one more time?
Right. Which is unfortunate, but...
Yeah. So we get the big quote that, is actually at the back of the book, but it's, also our main quote and main title episode is that she tells that, like, I had a nightmare, but it's like, I was the nightmare. Because first thing she noticed when they got there, like, those weeks ago or however long it's been now, is, I think it was, like, just a couple weeks, but, Tamlin told Lucian to stop flirting with her, which, again, he's mated, you dumbass. Like, he hasn't thought about Feyre, like, and he never has.
Nope.
But it all fit because he's insecure.
100%.
And bro, there is more work to do. Badass.
Now things are starting to come together for her.
And it's wild. Again, reiterating back to when I said at the top of this episode, goosebumps every point.
Mm-hmm.
So, I love how the next chapter, the top of chapter 6, is just a set of keys disappeared from the estate gates. It's like, ooh, here's our next ploy. Again, we don't really notice we don't really get the full extent of what is going on until the end of chapter 8.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens right after the whole Ianthe. So we find out later that it's actually Ianthe orchestrating all that.
Yeah.
But we don't really know yet. So we're just having an awkward breakfast with Lucian as far away from Feyre as possible to prove his quote-unquote innocence. And Tamlin's pissed. So Ianthe kind of bursts into their meal and wants to again show how important she is and her sway with Tamlin to the Hybern royals. Because even in a way, even if Ianthe is friends with the King of Hybern, that doesn't mean she has sway with everybody.
Right.
So she claims, like, the land around her temples are dying or whatever, and Feyre, like, cuts it out immediately. I love these political plays that she's having. Because she's like, well, if we trust our Hybern allies, why don't you say it in front of them?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, kind of right. The fact that the first reaction when she says about the thing died, Jurian just rolls his eyes and goes back to, like, whatever he's doing.
Like, snoozing, basically, because, they're kind of hungover after the party.
It's like, honestly, I'm kind of digging him again. He's not so bad.
He's just funny. He's relatable in a way.
Yeah. And, of course, like, Dagnan and Branna even go, like, she's like, it's for the gardeners to deal with. It's like she's coming to them with a problem that Ianthe herself wants to solve.
Yeah, she wants to be important again, so she's making troubles so that she can solve them and prove that she can be important.
And it's like, bro, does no one else see this? Because, like, it's very, like, I feel like everybody at the table knows what she's doing.
Except for Tamlin.
So, obviously, Feyre says, hey, we're going out again today. And Feyre and her almost get into a fight about Tamlin going with Lucian on the trip today because they're going to be spending the night.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be spending the night out there because it's far away. And in a weird way, Jurian is kind of helping her because as soon as, like, Tamlin says something, he says, oh, you don't trust us, High Lord? Almost in a way, like, he's kind of helping her.
Jurian can see things.
Which, again, I don't trust him. I'm not saying I trust him, but he's kind of working to her advantage a little bit.
Yeah.
So again, Ianthe tries to, like, it's almost, when somebody says, I don't know, like, calls a name out of nowhere to make themselves feel important. Oh, I know so-and-so.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like she's doing that with the Night Court. Well, what about the Night Court? What if they come for her? Like, what? almost in a way of Ianthe saying that to kind of get Feyre to say something. But it's Jurian who stops her from saying that and says, oh, Rhysand wouldn't be that stupid, da-da-da, like, whatever.
The other thing, it seems like Jurian knows Rhys the best out of everyone there, obviously, other than Feyre.
100%. So obviously, Tamlin kind of lets her go. I mean, not lets her go, but basically
begrudgingly says, okay, fine.
But it's Ianthe who goes in for the low blow. She's like, well, if you give Rhysand back his family's wings, maybe. How the hell did she know about that, first of all? Like, I mean, I guess she knows things, but who?
They grew up together, right?
Feyre is now intrigued, but again, like I said earlier in the episode, Tamlin said he burned them a long time ago, which he seems remorseful about, but honestly, I don't really give about your remorse. Like, you were kind of the direct cause of that to happen, so...
Yeah, that was your fault, so don't act all high and mighty.
But it's whatever, so, of course, Tamlin has to threaten Lucien before they go. Be careful. What are they gonna do? Like,
they're like, be careful about sleeping in the same tent as my bride, my ex-bride.
Because, honestly, they haven't even ever talked about getting back together, so, like, it's doomed, bro. I mean, we know that, but...
It was doomed from the start.
Anybody in their vicinity would know that it's doomed, but... As soon as I heard that they were going camping as well, I went, oh shit, this isn't gonna go well, is it? I was like, this is gonna go bad.
Yeah.
So Forever the lady, she like lets them put up the tents because they finally like make it to their camping spot. And Jurian kind of wanders off and the twins like go to retreat to their own tent, which
probably put up some kind of barrier because Lord knows what happened in that tent.
I don't think they give a shit about who knows though. Like,
that's true. They don't hide it.
Funny as shit. As soon as the tent goes up and then like she gets in it and then Lucien, he curses and goes, should I stay outside?
It's like, no, body heat, Lucien, get in here.
She goes, like, her reaction, I think, is all of our, she's like, oh, please.
Please.
Like, when have I ever made any move to you, bro?
And also legit, like, he keeps, like, talking about he's mated.
Which is so perfect of a ruse because she's, like, kind of pretending on everybody else's assumptions, but to him, she's like, yeah, please, come on now. Which makes him not really question about getting closer to her. Because if she was actively, like, flirting with him, of course he would push himself away.
Right, but she's not.
No. This is just downright funny.
It is.
So he, like, he doesn't take his shirt off, but he, like, unbuttons it. So we get more. Lucien is talking way more, which I appreciate. I feel like if anybody, Lucien has learned from his past mistakes more than Tamlin did in terms of being open about things.
At least he's willing to try to be open.
Yeah, because he kind of, like, tells her about things. Yeah, like, I love how Lucian's the one that brings up, like, I mean, it's kind of bad because you two haven't, and she's just like, ugh, I don't want to be touched like that again. And of course he apologizes because he understands, like, yeah. Lucien explains to her that Tamlin made kind of a bargain with Hybern similarly to how it was with Rhys, where it's crafted like a true bargain. If he doesn't do what they say, it will come to claim his powers, his life, or something. And Lucien even explains it as it could come for somebody else.
Right.
Like, it could come claim somebody, like her or him. Right. It's very...
So, that is one thing I don't like about the bargains. It's like, okay, well, like, Feyre wasn't even part of that bargain to begin with, in the sense of, like, she didn't make it. She wasn't involved in the process of making it. So, the fact that she could suffer consequences just because Tamlin doesn't hold up his end of the bargain, like, that's kind of bliss.
He describes it as, like, it's old magic that kind of does what it wants.
Yeah.
So, it'll take whatever that person, I think, cares about the most.
Fucked up that's Feyre right now.
Yeah. Or, well, it could be just his magic. If I'm believing what I believe, I don't think he cares as much about her as he does about him and his power and his control.
That's true. Take away all of his control, please.
Or maybe take away his High Lord status, maybe?
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
I wonder if it would do that. If he cares so much about control, if that's what the bargain would take as payment.
And then I wonder if it would then make it choose a new High Lord.
100%, I think it would. Because everything has to have balance, so it'd have to be given to somebody else.
That's true.
So, during that time, he tells us about what he did. He went to the day court to try to help, to get her out of Rhys's bark. That was what he was doing. He was going, talking to them, apparently they have like a bunch of information and whatnot, but it was going too slow for Tamlin.
Because he's not patient.
So, and also, he said the letter she wrote didn't help and whatever, and Lucien said that the day after he returned from their encounter, he let Ianthe push Tamlin to go to High because Lucien didn't think there was another option. The fact that even Lucien went to the Night Court court to try to appease Tamlin's fears.
Yeah.
But then Lucien gave up after seeing what she did.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, but also Lucien also let Tamlin kind of get trapped into that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit.
I mean, part of me wonders if Lucien, in a way, like, yeah, he did give up, but again, I'm wondering if maybe he let Tamlin go to Hybern in the hopes that, like, Hybern wouldn't be able to do anything, or that Tamlin would come to his senses or something. Like, he probably didn't expect them to make a bargain.
I agree. I mean, I really don't think that Lucien knew what was going to happen in like, he even says that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, that's not what I thought we were going for.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. I think biggest prize of this monologue that he says is that we find out that the day that she got saved from Moore, when Tamlin came back, he killed the sentries that were on guard.
The sentries that Moore knocked out. And specifically that Moore was like, well, they're going to wake up with a really bad headache, but they'll live. It's like, no, they won't.
He publicly executed them, too. Not just killed him.
That's toxic.
That's like, bro. Dude, Feyre was like, are you serious? You just let him do that? And he's like, Lucien tried to beg for mercy, but it didn't do any good. Holy shit. I mean, that's foreshadowing for, like, chapter 8, by the way. It's
literally like, so Tamlin sacrificed all of his sentries for those 50 years, and then he kills sentries for not being able to resist the sneak attack that Moore did, and quote-unquote letting Feyre get taken away. And then comes chapter 8 with the whole whipping thing. Like, how does he still have sentries at this point? How do they still trust him, and how are they still loyal to him?
Because they're actually loyal to a fault.
Well,
I don't think that's going to happen now. I think they see. Because I think up until a point, like, made sense. I feel like everything was easily explained. Now when it's kind of getting thrown in their face, very adamant.
Right, when the killings aren't happening for a good reason.
Yes. Even though that wasn't necessarily a good reason, I feel like anybody would understand.
Right.
That was easily understandable. Yeah. So, of course, like, even Lucien kind of wants to double-cross Hybern at some point. He did exposit that. Kind of got that out of him. She's like, okay, do we rather go against the Night Court and Hybern, or do we use Hybern to get what we want? Okay, yeah, but you literally just made a deal with the devil, though.
Yeah, and definitely not Rhys.
Yes. So, I love how he tells her that High Lords are a different breed.
It's like, oh, and who knows?
It's like, I said, well, you're sleeping next to one, so...
Well, a High Lady is even more of a different...
Oh, yeah, because one first of her kind. I just love how Jurian wakes them up the next morning. She's on top of him, and this encounter with Brandon, Princess Brandon, she's just like, I would fuck Baron's son, too. It's like, ew. Because she says, yeah, she's just like, Autumn Court males have fire in their blood, and they fuck like it, too. It's like...
Honestly, I thought end up with some kind of threesome with Hegda.
I know, that's what I was like, wait, have you... It's like, obviously she's like, why do you think the war was so fun? And it's like, okay, bitch, I kind of didn't really want to know. This was hilarious as hell. She was, I didn't really want to think about that fire with Elaine. It was like, when she sees him again, like, he goes, what? And then she's just thinking about Elaine being subject to that fire. Ugh. It's like, your best friend's having sex or something, and it's like, oh.
And Lucien was just like, what? What'd I do?
Which, I have a theory that Brandon slept with Eris. Lucien's eldest brother.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, out of the best ones they probably could have slept with. I mean, Eris is the worst, that's why it works, right?
What if it was actually with Baron, though?
Ew!
Ugh. Also, though, like, Brennig and Dagden totally, like, I feel like it was less, well, they probably, of course, they're commanders, they still fought, but it was less fighting and more fucking around on the battlefield.
Oh, yeah. They definitely were like, I agree. It was comical, though, like, even though we don't, the princess and the prince, it was kind of like, ew, I really didn't want to know about the Autumn people's fire.
Right.
Like,
again, she never even actually thought about it, but everyone thinks that she wants to be with Lucien.
Like, ew, gross.
But she actually prefers darkness.
Yeah, we prefer them wings, I'm sorry. Like, I don't really care about the fire. Girl, I'm actually blushing, dude. I miss Cassian and Astrid. I miss them so much.
Me too.
But of course, the comedy and funniness is short-lived, like always, because they run across 3 children of the blessed,
standing on the other side of the
whole location. Obviously, the twins are so excited they want to kill them automatically.
They want to fuck them and kill them,
or eat them.
Yeah, they want to have their fun.
The biggest tell about this is that Jurian actually looks scared for them.
Yeah,
which showed me a little bit of his humanity, because I'm like, that's not a crazy person. That's another human being scared for other humans.
Yeah.
So even to the point of Jerian getting mad at Lucian, he's like, do you have children of the blessed coming for tribute? Because that's what they said. They said, oh, you know, they got on their knees. They were like, oh, we want to be tributes to Prithian and live out our days or whatever.
It is still stupid that the children of the blessed still believe that.
Well, they had it during those 50 years where they were being used and useful, but now they're not used anymore.
Right, but they don't know that. No one's gonna tell them that.
Well, that's what she tried to do, but it didn't really work out well for her.
No, or for them.
So she says there's nothing but death for your kind over here, which is hilarious for her to say because it's true.
It's true because she died over there.
And her sisters.
And her sisters.
So Jerian is the only person here who's, I mean, but he already died, but
exactly.
is human.
Humans die in Prithian.
So obviously, like, Feyre goes into their minds automatically, and it's kind of cool that she sees their, I know I don't want to spend too much time on it, but she goes into their minds and sees their lives. Like, you know, the one sold themselves in the street, the other one lived in so much poverty and thought Prithian would be a better option, and then the other one was like, she wanted to get out of a arranged marriage. It's like, you feel sympathy for them, but I obviously know that something bad is going to happen to them.
Right, so
I was hoping, so she shows them she shows them the Midgard worm, she shows them all of the deadly creatures that she's shown and been like, do you really want this? But she also tells them about the war so that if when they get to where they're going, you need to spread the word about getting people out. So that was something she do. So they run, obviously, after seeing all that in rain. But she actually grips Brannon. She grips the princess because she's like, if you go after them, we're going to have problems. Which goes back to
docile anymore.
Right, because they know. The prince and princess know who she really is because of her power.
Honestly, everyone in this entourage knows.
Tamlin's the only one who doesn't.
Yeah.
Or he does, but he just doesn't want to see it. Which kind of goes back to what Lucian says later about Feyre gave them a direct order and they denied it. Feyre does have sway. She is the quote-unquote lady or future lady.
Right.
So,
and if they're allies, you should probably listen to who has sway.
So it's like, yeah, that was undermining authority. So it's kind of crazy because after it happens, like, you know, of course the twins go and observe the wall or whatever like they did last time, and Jerian goes over to thank her. This is where I definitely start questioning his motives because I'm like, okay, if he's really that crazy and that mad, he wouldn't give a shit about 3 humans on the other side of the wall.
Right.
So he does ask her about the humans come over the wall, like what happens to them. She's like, and she tells him the truth. She's like, I mean, dude, during those 50 years, there were like beasts that roamed these woods. I don't doubt they made it that far.
Yeah.
So another important thing that is something that Jerian says. Oh, and I'm sorry. As they're talking about this, sorry, I got ahead of myself. When they're talking about this, they're sitting at the campfire together. So like they camped out that night again, and so they're the only ones sitting at the campfire, her and Jerian, and so they're having this very truth talk.
Right, where he's actually very lucid and like the craziness is out of his eye.
Yeah, and he talks about like, I mean, honestly, he's talking about how Hybern's like a direct enemy because he said 500 years ago they would have been flogged for that nonsense. We were their slaves and laborers, and men and women fought and died so we'd never have to serve them again. Yet there they are in those costumes, unaware of the danger. She's like, careful, are you know, you might not sound like their faithful pet. He's like, that's what you think of me. Ooh. So obviously he doesn't really care about Hybern, but he's playing a very dangerous game.
I mean, they both are.
Yeah.
So, kind of works.
So again, he reiterates that he just wants Miriam and Drake. He wants them to crawl over whatever place, their island or whatever, to kill them. Which, killing doesn't really make any sense, but I'll go with it, sure, as a motive. Killing Drake, and I understand. Right. Miriam, I don't really... Yeah. You know, she knows so much, like, she's just, you know, she's like, well, I heard that Clithia, you went mad with Clithia and da-da-da, and so Jerian tells us that Miriam gave him the okay to fuck Clithia for information, which I don't doubt, but I think it went to, like, a certain extent.
Right, it didn't include chopping her up.
Well, and fucking her for information isn't her falling in love with, that's like a whole different thing.
Right.
And she does bring up a good point. She's like, you got a second shot at life and that's what you want to do with it? Revenge? And he's like, isn't that what you're doing? I'm like, ooh.
Interesting.
Most important thing that he says throughout this entire talk is that he says, you don't remember, but I'm the one who fought beside Rhys's side. We were together. I know his true intentions. I know his own heart.
Right, they were on the same side of the war.
He tells us, because remember, Rhys didn't go into it a lot, but we do remember Rhys being captured by Amarantha. We find out the reason he got captured was because he knew it was a trap for him, but he wanted to save Miriam, because apparently she got captured. So he knew going in it was a trap and that he was going to get caught, but he did it to save her. Our boy. So sweet. So he's like, obviously, Jurian, okay, you don't just change that.
Yeah.
No. So I love his monologue. He knows exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
I want to say this verbatim because I think it's epic, but he says, and yet here you are, his mate, the most powerful High Lord in the world lost his mate and has yet come to claim her, even when she is defenseless in the woods, away from the wards, by the way. Perhaps that's because Rhysand has not lost you at all, but rather unleashed you upon us.
See, Jurian knows what's happening.
Jurian knows. Jurian 100% knows.
Better than anyone, probably.
Badass. I think Alice knows about her intentions, but like Jurian is the one that knows about Rhys's intentions.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Again, Jurian is definitely such an intriguing character to me.
Mm-hmm.
But, so again, another short-lived funny moment. They wake up the next morning with Lucien covering Feyre's mouth and smelling blood.
The fact that they can smell it from where they are, that's a lot of blood spilled.
Mm-hmm. Well, and their senses help that.
That's true.
So the twins went out into the middle of the night, put up a sound barrier where none of them knew that they were getting tortured, but they found those children of the blessed and ate them, basically.
Yeah.
Fuck up, bro. That's bad.
But didn't eat all of them. Left their remains.
Mm-hmm. For them to find as a message that they could do whatever they wanted.
Wow. Great.
It's like, so, dude, Lucien and Feyre are kind of badass for this, though.
Yeah. I mean, Feyre did say that they were going to have a problem.
Yeah. We need to send our own message then. So, in fast forward.
The first book.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. 100%. I love how it pans too, though. Like, so we don't see it, but they're just sitting in Tamlin's office and Tamlin's pacing and they're getting scolded because apparently they sent the bog after the twins. Mm-hmm. Hilarious.
They
Hilarious.
Just, lured it. Like, they found it because it was still, like, just creeping around. Well, obviously it's a different bog because Tamlin killed the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So they just happened to find a second one and lured it over to the twins somehow.
Yep, they got him. They got their ass because they were, like, screaming and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, they dealt with it.
They did.
It was just happenstance. Remember back when Feyre told Tarquin that immortality never gets dull?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those perfect examples of this.
Yep.
So obviously, like, Feyre is kind of, I don't want to say she's being herself, but she's standing up for herself. Like, she is wanting to fight.
Yeah.
Because she's like standing up because everybody's listening now. The Sentries are listening. She's like, she wants to stand up for the less fortunate. She's 100% right. It's what I told you before about what he said. He's like, how he doesn't understand that Lucien, stood up for these humans. He cares. It's like, Lucien's right. They went against Feyre's order. They should have gotten punished.
Yeah.
But instead, Tamlin just yells at Lucien to get out so that they could talk. And of course, Feyre, like, stands up for Lucien. She's like, don't talk to him like that.
Which is sweet, but also she is playing into his anger that she knows he has.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like, it goes back to my whole thing about, him getting so easily riled.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's 100% right about this, and Lucien knows it, but he leaves because, Tamlin yelled at him to get out. It's like, it was warranted. Like, the twins openly disrespected them in their own home. It's like, but he's getting so damn riled by what she said, it's so easy to do it.
Yeah.
And for a second, it's almost like she's getting to play herself for one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of these things that she's been wanting to say to him, she's able to say. But obviously in a veiled way.
Right.
Promised you wouldn't act this way, no matter what I went through to get to our people, you think any of us are happy, that I'm worth the dishonor of working with Hybern. You whored us out to Hybern. Forgive me if I'm not trying to regain some of what we lost.
Again, I do want to mention that Tamlin said our people once more.
Well, she said it.
Oh, right. So, never mind.
She said it because she was playing it. Yeah, she was playing into it. And this is what gets him to get triggered. She says, you might be willing to get on your knees for Hybern, but I certainly am not.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
regardless of what court she's in, she is not going to get on her knees for Hybern.
Oh, no. And she explodes, bro. Totally explodes.
And she does not protect herself this time.
No. I love the juxtaposition between this and the first one.
Yeah.
Because the first one was purely by accident, but it's the same thing. It's the same blow up.
The only difference is it's during the day and there's an audience outside the door.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there was an audience the other time, but like she didn't really notice it because her powers weren't up there yet.
That's true.
She couldn't tell who was out there. So obviously, he looks horrified, but again, he's not like like he's upset, but he's not as bad as he was the first time.
No.
Which that shouldn't be something you get to, that shouldn't be something that gets used to.
Right. And so she wasn't just like, she was blown back as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so she wasn't just like sitting on the floor like in a protection bubble like before. She was blown back with the rest of the furniture.
Yep. Hits the wall, gets everything. And so obviously Lucien busts in because he was still outside.
He's like, what the hell did you do?
Yeah. Like all of even the sentries out, like, Braun and Hart, remember those two guys? They're out there looking with disgust at him because how can you so easily hurt someone someone that you claim to love above all else.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how that works.
And the fact that, like, they can, like, see literally, you know, the blood on her face from the cuts.
And she's shaking, but she's apologizing.
Right.
She's like, oh, I'm sorry. Dude. And they get a good look at her, too, and it's not good.
No. So they can see that, like, they are now seeing the toxicity between Tamlin and...
Mm-hmm. It's like now they see it. Before, like, if I'm remembering before, you know, obviously because she didn't have any outward bruises.
Right.
But that scene would have played out way differently if her heir didn't save her then.
Exact. Because now they're seeing it. It's like, okay, not only is it someone you love, but, like, this is gonna be our, like, future lady of the court, and this is how you treat her. Like,
yeah.
This is, like, honestly, like, Baron and Lady of Autumn vibes.
Yeah. See, that's why I said that so long ago, because it kind of does. But also, on your point about how she's their future lady, it's also, she was their savior.
Mm-hmm.
You're not only doing that to the lady, but to the savior of their land. It's like,
the
ooh.
curse breaker, and now the cauldron blessed as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but as she goes into, so she also, she suppresses her dawn magic.
Mm-hmm. So that she doesn't heal.
Yeah. Oh, and baby in free sand.
I do want to say just real quick before we get into the wholesomeness, just the fact that, you know, Fae already, like, they already heal really quickly. The fact that, like, even without her dawn magic, you know, normally her Fae healing should speed up anyway. So the fact that the cuts aren't healing, regardless of whether the dawn magic is there, that just shows how bad the injuries actually are.
It's so wholesome. It's just, he again, it's a risk. Every time they talk, it's a risk. So he doesn't give a shit.
He's just like,
he wants to make, he's like, are you hurt? It's like, no. I know better than to tell you to be careful or to come home, but I want you home soon. And I want him dead for putting a hand on you. Oh, baby.
Remember, again, they haven't been mated for that long. He's still 100%, 1000% protected.
Oh, yeah. It's girl. But the fact that this scene went from, like, very cute to she's just like, she sticks her tongue out at him and whatever. And then he sends back an image of his tongue, but it's preoccupied doing something else. I went, bro, he's probably horny as fuck.
He probably is.
He's
horny as fuck, but he also wants his mate home.
I know, but he also just wants to touch her. It's more wholesome than just, like, wanting to have sex.
He wants to hold her. He wants to make love to her. He wants her, all of her.
But also, like, hot as hell.
Yeah, wholesome and hot.
It's like, oh, Rhysand's nature, 100%. Of course, these next couple of days, like, she goes with Bronn and Hart for a ride the next day, just to show, again, reiterate how much it's hurting her to move around and da-da-da. And Lucien doesn't speak to Tamlin for days.
Yeah.
And Tamlin gives her kind of a weak-ass apology, even more weaker than I feel like the one from the second book.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because in that moment, he was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, it was, like, very, almost in a weird way, genuine.
Right, he was, like, trying to get to her and hug her and hold her, that kind of thing. Like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm trying. Which, obviously, we know that was a lame excuse anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just like, yeah, sorry, oops. You know how I get.
So, we figure out now that 7 Naga break into the estate ground. And
Naga?
Which is another thing I had to read over again, because, again, this was one of those things where we didn't really know till the end of the chapter all the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, what happened is Ianthe let them in. Tho had a vision that they were coming to save them.
A vision?
When has she ever... She's not a fucking seer. She's never had visions before. Like,
a vision from the mother, from the cauldron. I too am cauldron blessed with visions.
Oh my god. So, they all meet outside, because again, keys got stolen like a couple nights before, and so now all of a sudden they're on the state grounds. So, they're at the barracks with the sentries on duty last night, and they're hung up, or tied up, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is here, so the Hybern Royals are here, Jurian's here, and Tamlin cannot show weakness in front of Hybern.
Right.
And Ianthe is very much pulling his strings. He's like, 20 lashings and 1 extra for the, it's almost like Hail Mary. I don't know if you know about those, but those are like Catholic thing.
Mm-hmm.
7 Hail Marys. It's like, and 1 extra for good men. This time with whip. So he's about to whip his own, which is such a callback to when he whipped Lucien in the first book.
Yeah, yep.
And just did it. Yeah. You already talked about how ironic that was.
Then he was doing it to save Lucien from further punishment under the mountain. Here, he's just doing it because Ianthe's whispering in his ear.
And this makes me so livid because, so we know Ianthe's the cause of this. And so at first when it says that Feyre like put the memory into his mind, it's like, no, that's what happened. But
she had just blocked so that she couldn't remember it until this moment.
Yes. So
Ianthe like acted so like offended. She's, you dare blame me, a child of God? God.
Right.
I am
right.
perfect. How dare you? Tamlin, do you see this? You have to, like, whip him into shape.
It's like, how could, it's totally a power play, dude. And they're falling right into her hand.
And it's not
Like,
even a good one. It's pathetic.
He's about to whip his own sentry, and then when his sentry, who is loyal to him, is saying that she did it, Feyre comes forward and says, like, also, sorry, can I just say, what a bitch for her to, like, let the Naga in the first place. What is that showing? What is that doing? Somebody could have gotten hurt.
Also, I do feel like, though, she probably learned about the Naga that Feyre faced in the first place, and probably chose Naga on purpose.
Oh, yeah, to get her. Yeah, definitely, I would say. Ianthe's smarter than she seems. Like,
and a stupid bitch.
So, oh yeah, but not smart enough. Feyre tries to come forward and listen to the sentry story, which is also putting into her hands, right? Because she's trying to come forward and listen, which I actually think is her being truthful.
Right, but genuinely doesn't want them, even if she doesn't want them to get whipped, even if she realizes this is part of the plan, like her plot, like it needs to happen. But also, it's putting her in the light and the others in the darkness. Like the fact that she's just like, I will listen to your story as lady or future lady of this court. I will listen to you. I will hear you. And like all of the other sentries, you know, are looking at her of like, thank God, like thank goodness that she's going to listen. And then Tamlin is just no.
Yeah, because it's also about the whole high fae versus low fae thing that we've noticed even from Tarquin last about how the high fae feel like they have this, you know, because Ianthe not only is a priestess but she's high fae, that somehow the lower fairies don't have as. Why would you trust a lower fairy when you know against a high? It's a total class power play,
right? Or even if the sentries are high fae as well, they're just sentries compared to the High Lord or the High Priest.
So I love how the imagery of when she says she gave them both a rope and he's hanging himself with it. He knows. That's the worst part of this. He knows what she's doing. He knows what Ianthe is doing. He knows that the sentry is telling the truth. But he can't. This is him and his mentality. He can't risk upsetting Ianthe to then upset Hybern, or not to look weak in front of the Hybern royals that are there now because they like scoffed or whatever at him for listening to the story or whatever.
Whereas probably in Hybern, that sentry just would already be dead.
So, but like Feyre is very adamant, like, please just listen. It's like, perhaps it was a mistake. Don't take it. Like, because like, don't take it from his honor again. Because we know he's truthful. So, and dude, the idea that he just says, put the bid in. Ooh, holy shit.
Wow.
It sucks, like you said, that a sentry is kind of getting caught in crossfire. But if anything, that isn't her fault. She gave Tamlin multiple ample opportunities to change that outcome. And he just went right into what she thought he was going to.
Yeah.
It's like that's what I was trying to say about the whole rope thing, is like, yeah, just because I gave you the rope doesn't mean you need to hang yourself with it. You did that on your own.
And just the visual idea of the way it's painted, of just the sound that cleaves the air.
Ooh, girl. It was great because she backs up into Lucian, leans into Lucian. So he's already pissed looking at them because like Lucian is kind of
his arm around her shoulders, almost like protect her from the monstrosity of the action that Tamlin is doing right now. Like almost like he can't believe that he's actually going through with it. And he probably remembers his own lashings.
Because he's not only putting priestess above his own people, he's putting these foreign Hybern royals above his people.
Above Feyre.
And I love that text at the end. Like when you heard the whip snap, then the crack in the foundation of the court did. Holy shit. That was epic as hell.
It's like, I mean, yeah, Feyre like played all the cards to like break the court, but Tamlin was the one who did it.
Or yeah, if anything, like Ianthe could have not done anything, but because Feyre knows Ianthe's true nature, like of course she knew she was going to do something to make herself feel relevant. And honestly, like I said, they did that all to themselves.
He fell into the and now he cleaved his own court.
Well, yeah, because who's going to be loyal to him now because of that? Like loyalty goes both ways, my man. The reason that his sentries were so loyal was because he stopped sending them, like you said, above the wall in the first, because he didn't want to risk their lives anymore. But where is that loyalty? It's gone.
Once he got what he wanted, once he got free of that curse and got Feyre, like he doesn't need anyone else, or so he's saying. He starts taking advantage of everyone in his court and saying like he's going to protect them all.
Which again makes me reiterate and rethink the first book again when like he said, "Oh, I put Feyre above the whole entire Prythian." It's like looking back at that, that's that's not a romantic thing. That's a big old red flag that we now know is
yeah, not good. And now he doesn't even put favor above everyone. He just puts himself.
His position, his control, da da da.
Yeah.
What a way to start book.
It's intense. A lot of
literal
goosebumps. Exactly, goosebumps. A lot of stuff happens in just 8 chapters. It's insane.
And I'm excited to go along with this journey, man. I'm excited to go. So this is the end of our deep dive section. So I'm just excited to get into it. So excited.
I'm super happy actually though. Like there's like so much that I get pissed about just in this like, well, just related to Tamlin and I am. But like regardless of how much I get pissed, that's a sign of great writing. If you can read about a character and hate them so much, you know they're doing their role really well.
Well, it's because also like that, like I said before about specifically Ianthe is like, oh, I've known of girls like that.
Right.
Maybe not to that extreme, but in a fantasy way, but definitely met girls like that.
Yeah, very so. So now we're moving on to our second section where we are going to talk about the graphic audio. So welcome to Tally's Corner. Take it away, Tabby.
It's so cute. I will say I am so excited, not only about this, but also just, we haven't recorded in like 2 weeks. We haven't recorded since Liesl's graduation because we've been prepping and da-da-da. We do this every season, but oh God. Reminding how much I love the graphic audio every time I listen to this is crazy as hell. So again, I'll go into how I felt every chapter. So again, I want to reiterate about Liesl. Liesl has listened up until you said...
just before the whipping.
Yeah, so we're kind of in the same place, so that's kind of good. So I will say, if I'm going back to all the way back to the beginning, prologue. It was so cool because everything was said in Anthony's voice, right? Anthony Rhysand, voice actor for Rhysand, who we love to death. It was so cool to hear his voice again, and it was so eerie.
As
the music, lies that you heard about the dead people, like the atmosphere of just what that was epic.
Definitely put an image in my mind, that's for sure.
Yeah, because as you were talking about like stepping over bodies and stuff, you could hear that too.
I know,
it was an epic way to start out the book, and I just also hearing it from his perspective was just he's so beautiful. So beautiful. So yeah, I mean, there wasn't really much besides like, oh, the epic music, epic entrance, da-da-da. It was kind of standard, but also just loving it. So we get to the first chapter, and I think overall, I think I said this at the end of the last book, was that I love Melody Muse's, the person who plays Feyre. I love her talent to be able to kind of shift back and forth between her narration from like, oh my God, I'm gonna gut her at her sleep, to, oh, hello. Right. The shift in tone was spot on.
It's incredible.
It was so great.
Able to do that.
Yeah, I was like, testament to her talent as an actor to be able
to.
It's
just such like fast transitions too.
Right. I think the biggest plot points that kind of stood out to me in terms of either music or talking was I specifically love the music when she's talking about her old bedroom. Like when it talks about the thorns and stuff.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I don't know what it was about the music, but it was the nostalgia. It was like this old ass music where it was, but almost like funeral music in a way. Like when it talks about it being a tomb.
I mean, it literally, that's their relationship. That's where it died.
I know, it's making it, whoever chose the music was spot on with that.
I need to get in contact with them.
Yeah, I know, you're really good. Liesl is I'm gonna bolster her up a little bit. She's very good at choosing music for situations, and that's why she's the one who chooses all the music for the beginning and ending, so this is amazing. So
thanks for that.
Shout out. I also love that we get to see more sassy Lucian back, because again, of course, Gabriel Michael, our BFF, our bestie, props to him, of course, for playing Lucian and kind of, but sassy Lucian, but also in a different way.
It's slightly more mature in a way.
Yeah, it's almost like, oh, he got a mate, and all of a sudden now it's like, okay, now it's time to be an adult.
It's totally like the bachelor who's now a married man kind of vibe.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, at least from the message that I'm getting off of from the last book, I don't think that's gonna go well for you right away.
Although I will say I missed sassy Lucian.
I know, I did. It was so fun to have him back. Yeah. That's what made this, I think part of it, Melody and Gabe, and just also them in tandem together made this whole section funny as hell for me.
Yeah.
And comedic.
They play really well together.
Yes, very much. Moving on then to chapter 2, when, Hybern comes in and da-da-da. Okay, I know this is gonna sound dumb as fuck, but Jurian's voice is hot as shit. Not sexy like Anthony's, or not like, full on, knees wobbling John's for Cassian's, but It's Jurian is hot. I need to find out this guy's name because we looked it up before and I'm forgetting, but it's mysterious. It's mysterious hot, if that makes sense.
Kind of works with, like, I definitely agree. It definitely gives the air of the mystery, which works what we were saying of, like, we're only on the first level of Jurian.
Right, and also, remember we talked about before how, Jurian's character was somebody who, how do I say? He was charming. That's the whole thing with Clythia. Like, that's the reason why she was so enthralled by him.
And that's why he was such a good general. Like, people looked up to him because he was charming and, like, he knew how to work with.
Right. So, good casting overall. I mean, I told you before, I think out of all the graphic audios I've listened to, since I'm a seasoned vet at this point, everybody was cast perfectly. Even the twins, bro. The twins were cast perfectly. Even their voices were just great. I think the funniest part about that was the whole mental shields thing.
Yeah.
When they, like, threw back and the whole, her scraping, hearing the scrape of the talons on their mental shield. Hilarious as hell. Because, it was probably, like, the same sound effect that they used for Reese back when they used it.
I think it was.
Oh, it definitely was. So it also put into perspective that as well. Then, chapter 3, going into overall, like I already said, everybody was cast really well. I think chapter 3, the thing that really stood out to me wasn't really them being out in the woods. It was Alice's scene. Because we hadn't heard from Alice in a while. And also, I feel like this time, the person who did the graphic audio for Alice's voice was just, it's almost like she's sassy in a different way. It's a different way we've ever seen Alice. Because, like, when she said, well, you could wear these, it's like very playful.
Yeah.
But also the whole you came back right line with Alice was spot on. It was amazing.
It made me a little bit of emotional, actually.
I know. Yeah, her voice does. I don't know. So, obviously, Liesl doesn't know yet, but this woman also plays Jessica in Crescent City. Those of you who know Crescent City, it's another one of Sarah's Maasverse books. And so I remembered that, and so I was listening, I was like, oh, this is so sentimental. I was like, oh my god. So well done. It's also just nice seeing other people play other characters that I love as well.
Being able to recognize the voice.
Oh yeah, I can recognize their voices like in the dark by now. So again, then moving on, I think chapter 4, I love the solstice music. Like, it was different than the one before because again, the other ones were kind of like fiddly music from the first book, but this time it was very somber religious music.
That's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a celebration.
Which I know that it made it like that, and so that was badass to hear. So obviously the whole A Night Before His Queen, The Shining, everybody going, oh, favorite Goosebreaker, like, it was so good.
More of the random gasp.
Oh yeah, it was hilarious. And yeah, the resplendent light and whatever. I think my favorite part about this though was the first time, obviously we heard Anthony's voice in the prologue, but as soon as I heard Anthony's voice again, I just smiled.
He does kind of have that voice. Well, definitely has that voice. You just smile too.
He does. And it's just so beautiful, bro. Because when he said that line, when he said the whole, obviously, when we talk about the main section, the graphic audio, I just feel like heightens the scene tenfold. Because again, the whole where he says, when do you come home to me? Oh my god, his delivery on that was so cute.
I teared up at that.
He really wants her back.
A couple times.
Oh, bitch, why do you think it takes me so long to write that? Because I'm just sitting there like, okay, repeat. Okay, repeat again. Okay. So it's like, now I'm done.
Then you move on to a next section, and then you go back again.
Just so. So, dude, the whole chapter 5 scene the whole nightmare sequence of her faking it, and oh my god, poor Gabriel though, playing the innocent. It was so funny when he said, I heard you, da da da, like he was panting, whatever, and it was so sweet and somber, and then all of a sudden, the music of dun dun, Tamlin, of like, what is going on here? Also, Henry Kramer, person who plays Tamlin. Again, we rep on Tamlin so much, but spot on performance. Definitely made us dislike him that much more.
Yeah.
Also, his oh my god, Henry's deep ass voice just like oh my god. I know he said that it scares people, but I was sitting there like, okay, I still don't like Tamlin, but
I hate Tamlin, but the voice actor,
it's like that deep voice, girl.
That's a delicious voice right there.
It's so true. So we love all of them. But so obviously everything, and obviously Melody's whole big line of "I was the nightmare," great. It was perfect. So then moving on to like chapter 6, the whole I mean, really there wasn't really much to bring up besides when Ianthe brings up about the wings during their dinner talk. I noticed a really big shift in, how do I say? Feyre talks about how it was like she got so mad that she couldn't even hear what was going on around her. And it wasn't like there was a ringing, but I don't know how they did it. I really want to ask. But it just felt like so much pressure. You know, when Melody was talking and narrating, it was like, oh my God, there was so much pressure. Then all of a sudden it let up as soon as the dialogue started talking again.
I think I need to go back and listen to that because I guess for our listeners, I listened to this first part when I was on the road. So, you know, I was going like 70 miles per hour over really bad highway roads. So I wasn't able to hear every little detail in the sound. So I think I definitely need to re-listen to that.
Oh, I mean, now you have the graphics. You can listen to it. Listen to it on repeat.
Religiously. That's the kind of religion that I would have before summer solstice.
True.
Everyone just gather and listen to a graphic audio.
So yeah, that we're trying to cult, man. We're trying to get people to listen to the graphic audio. But yeah, so listen to that part because I don't know, like it pulled me this time because it was like, oh, I don't really know how they did that, but they did it somehow. And obviously, you know, anytime her and Lucian talk are great. We already said that, but again, every time it's great. Also just to hear more of Gabriel because we love him. Then chapter 7, I love the moment with Jerry and a campfire. We need to find that guy's voice. We need to find out what his name is because
we
I keep
did
saying
figure out his name at one point, but
we did, but I don't remember.
We didn't actually write it down anywhere.
No, because they don't put on the website who's who. They just some for the main people they do, but for the side people they don't, which kind of stupid.
There should be at least a list somewhere on the internet of who's doing who.
Right, somebody did it.
Maybe I love my friends.
Yeah, well, honestly, I was going to ask Gabriel if he could just give me the cast list because I actually don't remember. I don't know everybody, so I kind of want to know. But so anyway, the campfire scene was cool because you could hear the campfire, but also at the same time, Jurian just talking again. I just love his voice. It was really good.
It also kind of fits with that a vibe that I really like of just casual soft talking around a campfire, and then adding the fact that it had music as well softly in the background. That's just a vibe that I love, regardless of what the story is or the fact that Jurian is supposedly evil or insane. That's just a vibe that I like, and yeah, his voice is
pretty.
Let's just say that pretty,
definitely. And then I think the music during the when they find the children of the blessed, their bodies, the music got me. Because it was rough because they saw them and it was like, oh, it was like a defeat. Because again, we go this whole time thinking Feyre kind of has the upper hand, and then all of a sudden we get to that moment where she doesn't, and it's like, oh shit. I mean, we're still slaves to them,
right? And she still has her mortal heart. Those are her people.
Yeah, and she tried to save him, but obviously there was nothing she could do.
Yeah.
So that got me. Yeah, and then the last chapter 8, the fight. Henry and Melody did an amazing job with their fight. Feyre just pushing and pushing and pushing, and the music kind of went along. It was very kind of the lines didn't linger. It was line, 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 boom, explode.
Right. It built up really quickly, which is a different way. Because in the past, we've heard there are some buildups that happen slowly, you feel it coming and it starts to make more tense. But then there are these other buildups that it's just one thing after another until it finally explodes, as you said.
Right. And it was so great. I loved it. And then obviously when Anthony came in after that moment, dude, I squealed when Anthony came in. I was like, oh, it's bad, bro. I love him to death. I'm literally, dude, my cheeks hurt because of how much I'm smiling talking about him.
They're a little red too.
I know, because he was just, and then he's like, his alpha male, I'm gonna kill him for putting hands on you, and it's like, okay. I just want to let you guys know that definitely happened. And then, dude, the last part, the music, the whip, brava. The scene was so well done because it was also kind of boom, 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 but at the same time, there was a level of so much intense noise behind it that it so much suspense, because it's almost like they were actually thinking that Tamlin was going to make the right call. And then the letdown of that was shown in the music. And then, of course, you hear the whip, obviously, by the graphic sound. And then you just hear broke through the foundation of war, and we're like, badass.
I wish I could hear it because I'm right there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, dude, the graphic audio, again, any of you guys are pondering doing the graphic audio, do it.
It's only like $12 or something on Audible.
I know, and especially if you have Audible, like the credits, you could just keep accruing those credits and use it for free.
Yeah, because you get a free one each month.
Though ACOWAR, it's kind of dumb. They split it up into 3 parts, which was dumb as hell. I don't know why they did that, but so yeah, dude, I get excited for every season, but now that we're like diving deep into this now that we're like established, we're getting more experience. I am so happy. I am so excited.
The end of the original trilogy.
I know. This is going to be wild and it's going to be intense. So I wanted to let everybody know that we're starting to do something different this season, which we're both excited about.
Mm-hmm.
We are starting a Patreon.
Yay!
So we will have 2 tiers. It will be the High Fae, which are $3 a month, and the Inner Circle, which will be $5 a month. And you can see, we'll put the link in the description and whatnot. So when this episode comes out, it'll be officially out. So each tier has their own specialties. I think the main things I wanted to say is that tier 1 will have early access to the audio, and the Inner Circle will have the access to our faces, because obviously it takes a lot to do the audio, but also it takes a lot to do a video. So we still pay money to do. Again, we're not looking for, oh my god, we want to get a boatload of money. It's more just we want to give back to our viewers for watching so far, but also at the same time keep us going.
Right. It's just literally for like the bare minimum finances kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like the not to boost it a little bit more, but the visual that will come with the Inner Circle tier will not have as many like specific cuts as well as like the main episode releases. So there may be extra tidbits in there, extra little bloopers.
And you'll also see, like, when we did our interviews, everything archived will be up in there. Mm-hmm. It'll be accrued over time, because obviously it'll take time to do all of those.
Right.
But
so
everything
we're going to be, like, posting, like, we're going to keep up with the season, but then with each season, we'll also post an old episode.
Yes, because every episode will have an old episode as well, an archived episode. So we want to thank you guys all for, please spread the word about Patreon. Please, we're trying to do better at posting and getting our word out there, because we really think we're doing well and would like to share our community people. So this is so exciting. Follow, like I said, review, follow the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're getting to the point where we're going to see the interview section, so that's going to be fun. So yeah, that's like the big thing for the season that we're doing, which is going to have an extra work on our part, but it's for our viewers. It's all for you guys, because we really enjoy you guys going along with the ride for us. So season 3, is there anything you want to say to the people before we skedaddle?
I just want to add on that I have started working on the playlist for season 3 on Spotify. So just a whole bunch of music that I believe kind of fits in with this this whole book and everything that happens from page cover to cover. And also go back and listen to the playlist for the first 2 seasons, because I enjoy making them, and I always enjoy sharing music as well.
Oh yeah, I listen to her Spotify playlist at work all the time.
And so
just in
Spotify
general
is linked. Our Spotify for the podcast is linked in our link tree, so go check that out as well. And of course, we're always posting new stuff.
Yeah. So, and this will be a fun ride. This will be great. So we'll thank you guys for watching up until season. So it's season 3, guys. So we'll see you guys in the next episode, where we're talking about chapter 9 to the end of chapter 14 in our next episode. So we'll see you guys then, and we'll hopefully you guys will be seeing us on video if you are, but if not, Godspeed to listening to our audio antics. So
we hope you like our voices. We've gotten used to them at this point.
Definitely. So I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Bye.